Chapter 1462. Strong, too strong. I didn't expect the City Lord's strength to reach such a level after not seeing him for so many years. Watermark advertisement test watermark advertisement testes. I wonder what realm the City Lord has reached now. He can shatter the void with a wave of his hand. While Qingu Qiu, Ren Tu, and the others were discussing, Yi Chunfeng summoned the nine-dragon jade annulus and continuously injected Dao power into it. He activated the strongest power of the nine-dragon jade annulus and condensed 9 deadly dragons. They shuttled through the collapsed space and bombarded the ancient demon lord. "Break for me!" the ancient demon lord roared, holding the sky piercer in his hand. With the terrifying power of the demon clan, he instantly smashed out 9 halberds, disrupted the space, and smashed towards the 9 deadly dragons. The terrifying attack forcibly shattered the attacks of the deadly dragons. After a round of attacks, Yi Chunfeng continued to inject endless Dao power into the 9-dragon jade annulus, activating it to continuously attack the ancient demon lord. Although the ancient demon lord was strong, he couldn't withstand the continuous attacks of the 9-dragon jade annulus. The fierce attacks launched by the sky piercer were completely suppressed. His body, shrouded in demonic light, was retreating step by step, shattering the void. Damn, how is this possible? With his strength, how can he continuously use a supreme-grade sacred treasure to attack? What secret is he hiding? Enduring the indiscriminate bombardment of the deadly dragons, the ancient demon lord's injuries began to gradually worsen. He was furious. He couldn't figure out why Yi Chunfeng was so heaven-defying. It completely broke his understanding. Mount Blood Demon unable to withstand the attacks of the 9-dragon jade annulus, the ancient demon lord summoned Mount Blood Demon. With the powerful power of Mount Blood Demon, he shattered the twisting void and roaring dragons. The demon emperor's furnace suppressed Mount Blood Demon. When the ancient demon lord used Mount Blood Demon to resolve the crisis, Yi Chunfeng summoned the demon emperor's furnace. He spat a mouthful of blood essence into the demon emperor's furnace, awakening the purple-eyed profound rhinoceros soul and slamming it into Mount Blood Demon. Boom! The 2 supreme-grade sacred treasures collided with each other like meteorite. It was earth-shattering. Cosmos Sword Array. The 2 supreme-grade sacred treasures collided fiercely. 111 When the void turned into nothingness, 230 Qiankuan swords flew out of Yi Chunfeng's body. They turned into a Qiankuan sword that was dozens of feet long. It tore through the chaotic void and ruthlessly slashed towards the ancient demon sovereign with an invincible sword might. The moment the Cosmos Sword formation attacked, the 9 deadly dragons flew out of the 9-dragon jade annulus again. They whizzed through the chaotic void and bombarded the ancient demon lord's body, forcing him to fall to the ground from the sky. Black Dragon Gu Jiang, a doomsday supernatural tyrannical kick. By burning his primordial bloodline and possessing endless Dao power, Yi Chunfeng could perform powerful saint skills without any hesitation. The moment the ancient demon lord fell, Yi Chunfeng performed 4 saint skills in succession, smashing a huge black hole in the ground where the ancient demon lord fell, causing the ground within hundreds of miles to tremble. Cosmos Sword Array. After successfully injuring the ancient demon lord, Yi Chunfeng controlled the Cosmos Sword Array to continue attacking. Like a rain of swords falling from the sky, they continuously attacked the bottomless black hole, not giving the ancient demon lord a chance to breathe. They continued to attack him. Ao ao ao! A series of ferocious roars rang out in the violently trembling black hole. The wounded ancient demon lord burned his bloodline power to the greatest extent. A pitch-black true demon shadow with bat wings on its back emerged from his body. It roared into the sky, forcefully swatting away the falling Cosmos swords and neutralizing Yi Chunfeng's attack. Tyrannical kick. When the ancient demon shadow attacked fiercely and the black hole appeared, Yi Chunfeng quickly stepped out. The terrifying footprint seemed to be able to trample through hell. With more than 1 billion pounds of power, it ruthlessly stomped on the ancient demon Shadow's body, causing cracks to appear on his terrifying body. Following that, 9 deadly berserk dragons flew down from the sky, evolving into a terrifying great Tao power. They ruthlessly bombarded the ancient demon Shadow's body, directly shattering the cracked ancient demon Shadow. Puff puff. After the ancient demon Shadow was shattered, the ancient demon lord immediately suffered a backlash from his demonic power. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. 9 dragon jade annulus continued to kill. Yi Chunfeng's deep eyes locked onto the ancient demon lord in the pit. He injected endless Tao power into the 9 dragon jade annulus, condensing the deadly berserk dragons, and continued to attack the ancient demon lord. He was determined to kill him. The power of space, isolate the space. As his injuries worsened, the ancient demon lord immediately used a powerful space law to isolate the surrounding space and neutralize the 9 dragon jade annulus attack. However, the 9 dragon jade annulus attack was too terrifying. In just a few breaths, the isolated space shattered and continued to attack his body. This made the ancient demon lord want to retreat. Senior Luo, Senior Tsang, Fire Qilin, Lei Yi, quickly come out and help me. While the ancient demon lord was doing his best, waving the sky piercer to resist the attack of the deadly berserk dragons, Yi Chunfeng summoned 4 helpers and attacked the ancient demon lord together, not giving him a chance to break out and escape. Demon's Descent. Although the ancient demon lord did not expect that his life would be in danger in the fighting spirit continent, he did not panic. He roared, and a large number of demonic shadows appeared in his bloody body, sealing the void and neutralizing the attacks of Yi Chunfeng and the others. When the ancient demon lord used Demon's Descent to forcibly blast away the continuous attacks of Yi Chunfeng and the others, he suddenly escaped into a special space trajectory and fled out of Xingluo Sky City at a speed that was difficult to see with the naked eye. Don't chase. Let's suppress this supreme-grade sacred treasure with all our strength. Yi Chunfeng guessed that the ancient demon lord still had many powerful trump cards. With the power that he controlled, it would be difficult to kill him. Therefore, he did not pursue with all his strength. Instead, he joined forces with Luo Shun and the others to suppress Mount Blood Demon, which was fiercely attacking the Demon Emperor's furnace. As long as Mount Blood Demon was suppressed, it was equivalent to cutting off an arm of the ancient demon lord. The next time they faced him, the ancient demon lord would be much less of a threat. Rumble. Sensing the summoning of the ancient demon lord, Mount Blood Demon immediately became restless and turned into a bloody light to escape. However, Yi Chunfeng and the others bombarded Mount Blood Demon. Mount Blood Demon was constantly shaken and could not break out of the encirclement. Chaos Divine Wood, suppress. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned his life treasure, Chaos Divine Wood. 5b4 He controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to suppress Mount Blood Demon, forcibly weakening the resistance of Mount Blood Demon. Power of the Realm, extinguish souls. When Mount Blood Demon was suppressed bit by Yi Chunfeng and the others using various treasures, Luo Shun used a secret technique to borrow the powerful power of the realm to bombard Mount Blood Demon, destroying the remnant soul and blood contract of the ancient demon lord in Mount Blood Demon bit by bit. Under the continuous attacks of Yi Chunfeng and the others, the blood contract in Mount Blood Demon collapsed. The remnant soul of the ancient demon lord was also crushed by the power of the realm and completely dissipated. Withdraw. Mount Blood Demon became an ownerless object. Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the 3 spirit-level Dao diagrams to seal it and put it into the Qiankuan realm. At this time, Yi Chunfeng had 4 supreme-grade sacred treasures. If he could refine all of them, under the control of endless Dao power, he would definitely be able to erupt with earth-shattering power and threaten the ancient demon lord. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. The next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1463. Qinguqiu, now that the danger is over, we can deactivate Xingluo Heavenly City's restrictions. Yi Chunfeng ordered loudly as he glanced at the shattered Heavenly City's restrictions that were withstanding the immense pressure. Watermark advertisement test. Young Master Yi. When the Heavenly City's restrictions disappeared, Qinguqiu, Ren Tu, and the rest of the Heavenly City's upper echelons stepped forward and saluted respectfully. It could be said that the strength Yi Chunfeng displayed in the battle with the ancient demon lord had completely subdued them. Qinguqiu, I'll hand over Xingluo Heavenly City to you. From today onwards, you'll be the new city lord of Xingluo Heavenly City. I hope you won't disappoint me. B68 Yi Chunfeng was quite satisfied with Qinguqiu. Before he left, he handed over Xingluo Heavenly City to Qinguqiu. Yes, young Master Yi, I promise to make Xingluo Heavenly City even more prosperous, Qinguqiu promised firmly. Come, Qinguqiu, follow me, I have something for you. Yi Chunfeng, Ren Tu, and the others exchanged a few words before calling Qinguqiu to the side. He gave him a precious Heavenly Saint breaking pellet, 2 precious saint pills, and a low-grade saint artifact, and told him to take good care of Bai Ziqing and the others. After that, Yi Chunfeng bid farewell to everyone and left Xingluo Heavenly City. He boarded the spirit boat and flew towards the central world. Qingfeng, what's your next step? Although Luo Shen was the protector of the human race, the fate of the human race was tied to Yi Chunfeng. Furthermore, he saw hope in Yi Chunfeng for the rise of the human race. I'm going to the Nine Heavens Divine Country to meet up with the seniors before heading to the Nine Heavens Royal City, Yi Chunfeng said. He wanted to take advantage of the ancient demon lord's injury to borrow Di Jiotian's power to control the Nine Heavens Divine Country and start a war against the Eight-Head Divine Country and the Kirin Kingdom. He wanted to cause chaos in the Central World and find a chance to enter the Central World's most dangerous land, the Heavens Beyond. Luo Shen, who went to Jiotian Imperial City, frowned slightly and said in a low voice, "At this critical juncture, do you still want to challenge Jiotian Divine Nation? Senior Luo Shen, I left a hidden pawn in the Nine Heavens God Nation. I want to use this hidden pawn to do something." Yi Chunfeng did not tell Luo Shen all of his plans. Then what do you need me to do? Luo Shen asked. Senior Luo Shen, what are your chances of breaking through the shackles of your realm and becoming a Tao Master in a short time? Luo Shen was of great significance to the human race. If he could break through to the Tao Master realm, he would be able to intimidate the 3 divine kingdoms and raise the status of the human race in the central world. Sigh, how difficult is it to break through to the Tao Master realm? I have been stuck at the 6-star Tao Saint realm for more than 100,000 years and has never been able to take that final step. Luo Shen sighed softly. What if I give Senior a breakthrough sage pill? Yi Chunfeng took out a precious supreme breaking sacred pill and gave it to Luo Shen. Posen holy pill. Looking at the supreme breaking sacred pill in Yi Chunfeng's hand, Luo Shen was stunned. His emotionless face was filled with joy. Qingfeng, you actually have such a legendary pill? Luo Shen could not hide the excitement in his heart. With the help of the supreme breaking sacred pill, he had an 80% chance of breaking through the bottleneck of his realm and becoming a Tao Master. I got this supreme breaking sacred pill by chance. Yi Chunfeng smiled and said, Now I am giving it to Senior. Qingfeng, I will never forget your kindness. Luo Shen took the supreme breaking sacred pill and said gratefully, If I can break through to the Tao Master realm and borrow the power of the world, I am confident that I can destroy the foundation of the 3 alien races. I believe Senior can definitely break through to the Tao Master realm. 5b4, at that time, the human race will have Senior's protection and can truly rise. Why, Qingfeng, do you want to ascend to the heaven realm? Luo Shen's face changed slightly when he heard Yi Chunfeng's words. Yes, after the central world is settled and the foundation of the alien race is destroyed, I will ascend to the heaven realm. Yi Chunfeng nodded. Qingfeng, although you are very powerful, the gate of the heaven realm is blocked by the alien race. With your strength, there is a high chance of an accident happening. You must think twice about this, Luotian said seriously. Also, ascending to the heaven realm is not as good as you think. You have to start from the beginning. There are countless geniuses in the heaven realm. If you can really destroy the alien race's foundation and stay in the Dohan continent, you will be the absolute ruler of this world and enjoy the respect of millions of people. Why do you have to risk your life in the heaven realm? I understand. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, but my ambition is to reach the peak of martial arts. So no matter how great the danger in the heaven realm is, I will not stop my pursuit of the peak of martial arts. I will not waver in my pursuit of the peak of martial arts. Qingfeng, I finally know why you have achieved so much at such a young age. Luotian's turbid eyes shot out beams of light. You have this kind of belief. Maybe one day you can really step onto the peak of martial arts. The spirit boat flew rapidly above the blue East Sea. On the way back, Yi Chunfeng dripped his essence blood on the hand of the true demon and blood demon mountain. By 111 the blood in Yi Chunfeng's body had fused with the primordial blood, which was of a very high grade. He recognized the two great holy treasures without much effort and put them into his body. He controlled his natal flame to refine them. Feeling the connection between the two supreme holy treasures was getting closer and closer, Yi Chunfeng found the Plucker of Heaven. Plucker of Heaven, are you okay? Looking at the pale and wounded Plucker of Heaven, Yi Chunfeng showed a trace of pity and asked softly, Yi Chunfeng, thank you for saving me. From today onwards my life is yours. Even if I have to climb a mountain of blades or plunge into a sea of flames, I will not hesitate. The scene of Yi Chunfeng disregarding his own safety to save her was deeply imprinted in the depths of Plucker of Heaven's soul. She could not forget it for a long time. All right, then cultivate well. One day I will bring you to the heaven realm. Yi Chunfeng valued Plucker of Heaven's ability very much. If her strength increased, she would definitely be able to help him a lot with her elusive method. All right, it's a deal. Although Plucker of Heaven knew that the heaven realm was extremely dangerous, she still agreed without hesitation. Come, these pills are for you. When you cultivate to the limit of level 6 Combat Beast Emperor, I will help you break through to 1-star Dao Saint. Yi Chunfeng was not stingy. He gave a holy pill and several quasi-holy pills to Plucker of Heaven. The flywheel flew rapidly above the 9 heavens. After about 4 days, the spiritual boat passed through the 9 chasms and returned to the central world. It flew towards Tsangnan City, which was located at the edge of Jiutian Kingdom. Tsangnan City was the place where Yi Chunfeng, Tianji and the others agreed to meet. Buzz 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 on the way to Tsangnan City, a terrifying aura suddenly leaked out of Luotian's body. This aura was so strong that it almost surpassed the limit of level 6 Dao Saint. Qingfeng, I feel the opportunity to break through. I need to find a place to cultivate and break through to 1-star Dao Master Realm. I will not go to Jiutian Kingdom with you. Jiutian Kingdom's foundation is more terrifying than Octave Kingdom. You must be very careful and remember not to be careless. When I break through to 1-star Dao Master Realm, I will immediately come to help. Luo Xun's voice suddenly sounded in Yi Chunfeng's ears. After that, Luo Xun disappeared from the spiritual boat. Sorry, something happened at home recently. I haven't sent the photo of Yi Wuji. Yunlei will send it on time tomorrow night. If you want to see it, please add us on WeChat, YLTY83 mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1464. Songnan City was located at the border of the Nine Heavens Divine Nation, adjacent to the Kirin Kingdom. It was an important city for the Nine Heavens Divine Nation. When Yi Chunfeng came to Songnan City alone, his powerful soul immediately locked onto Tianji, the Tao addict, and the others who were in an ancient courtyard in Songnan City. His body flashed slightly and disappeared from the bustling Songnan City. He came to Songnan City and walked along an ancient stone road to the ancient courtyard. Chi. The restriction covering the ancient courtyard trembled slightly. Yi Chunfeng passed through the restriction and entered the ancient courtyard. Fifth brother Black Tortoise, who was drinking wine under an ancient locust tree, saw Yi Chunfeng suddenly appear. He immediately threw away his wine bowl, stood up, and shouted excitedly. Black Tortoise's shout alarmed everyone in the ancient courtyard. Jiao Yuyan, who was wearing a jade-green dress and had a natural temperament, flew out of the ancient house. She brought along an enchanting fragrance and directly threw herself into Yi Chunfeng's embrace. Qingfeng, it's great that you're fine. She tightly hugged Yi Chunfeng's body. 2 streams of hot tears uncontrollably flowed out from the corners of Jiao Yuyan's eyes, wetting her beautiful face. Don't worry, Yuyan. In this world, no one can harm my life. Yi Chunfeng gently stroked Jiao Yuyan's soft hair and comforted her softly. Qingfeng, how did you escape the ancient demon lord's pursuit? The Tao addict, who was wearing a sackcloth robe and slovenly, came to Yi Chunfeng's side and asked in a low voice. I lured the ancient demon lord to a place and joined forces with Senior Luotian to heavily injure him. Yi Chunfeng gave a simple explanation of how he heavily injured the ancient demon lord. Little friend Qingfeng, I didn't expect that after not seeing you for several years, you actually have the strength to heavily injure the ancient demon lord. Your ability really opened eyes. The Thunder Clan's primogenitor, Lei Huang, walked over and looked at Yi Chunfeng, who constantly brought him surprises. Thank you Senior Lei Huang, Senior Feng Ruo, and Senior Feng Shi for coming to help. I'll give these 3 pills to the 3 of you. Speaking. 5 before Yi Chunfeng took out 3 Heavenly Saint breaking pills and gave them to Lei Huang trio. Qingfeng, this pill is. Xian Fengruo and Xian Fengshi were Sky Hall's grand elders and were extremely sensitive to medicinal pills. When they received the Heavenly Saint breaking pellet, they immediately felt that this medicinal pill was extraordinary and asked in surprise. This is the Heavenly Saint breaking pill that I refined. It can allow all of you to break through the limits of the Duhan continent and reach the 4-star Tao Saint realm, Yi Chunfeng explained. Qingfeng, did you really refine the Heavenly Saint breaking pellet? Xian Fengruo said with slight excitement. If he could break through to the next realm, it would mean that he could live another life. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, some time ago, I went to the ancient herb garden I discovered in the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom and gathered all the main ingredients for the Heavenly Saint breaking pill. Qingfeng, aren't you going to give us some of this good stuff? The Tao addict rubbed her messy hair and looked at the elixir of Heavenly Saint with bright eyes. Of course. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng took out 3 more Heavenly Saint breaking pellets and gave them to the Tao addict, Tianji, and the Black Lightning King. 5th brother, what are you going to do next? Tianji asked after accepting the Heavenly Saint breaking pellet. I want to start a war between the 3 kingdoms and cause even more chaos in this world. Yi Chunfeng explained the plan to Tianji, the Tao addict, and the rest. It's not easy to start a war between the 3 kingdoms, especially in these troubled times. 111 The 2 divine kingdoms will probably be very cautious, said Lei Huang, who had the highest seniority. I understand, but I have left an important chess piece in the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom. With this chess piece, the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom should start a war with the 8-head Divine Kingdom and the Kirin Kingdom. Yi Chunfeng said vaguely, intentionally hiding the existence of Di Jiotian. Then what do you need us to do? Seeing that Yi Chunfeng didn't want to say more, the Tao addict and the rest didn't ask. I hope that during the war between the three kingdoms, seniors can use the power under your control to help the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom destroy the Eight-Head Divine Kingdom and the Kirin Kingdom. Yi Chunfeng said, As for the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom, we will slowly deal with it in the future. This is not a problem. Lei Huang, Xian Fengruo, Xian Fengxi, and the rest who were indebted to Yi Chunfeng nodded. All right, seniors, this matter shouldn't be delayed. Let's split up. I will go to the Nine Heavens Imperial City now. When the time is right, I will use the communication array to contact you seniors. Yi Chunfeng didn't want to waste too much time. He wanted to start a war as soon as possible and take the opportunity to enter the sky beyond sky. Qingfeng, I want to go to the Nine Heavens Imperial City with you. Jiao Yuan bit her seductive red lips and said. This Qingfeng, let Yuan go with you. I want to be with you. She is the safest. The Tao addict said. Okay, then Yuan will go to the Nine Heavens Imperial City with me. Yi Chunfeng exchanged a look with Jiao Yuan and nodded. One day later, Yi Chunfeng and the rest left Songnan City. Yuan, how have you been these years? Looking at Jiao Yuan, who was standing at the bow of the spirit boat with her long hair fluttering in the wind, Yi Chunfeng asked softly. Master is very good to me. He tried everything to improve my strength. Looking at Yi Chunfeng's familiar face, Jiao Yuan's eyes revealed deep tenderness and said, But I want to be with you more. While speaking, Jiao Yuan nestled her head on Yi Chunfeng's chest and silently closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of Yi Chunfeng's body. Feeling Jiao Yuan's affection for him, Yi Chunfeng sighed softly in his heart. He didn't know how to accept her. Qingfeng, don't have too much burden in your heart. I won't delay your steps to the peak of martial arts. I just want to love you silently and look at you. That's all. Looking at Yi Chunfeng's flickering eyes, Jiao Yuan seemed to have seen through his thoughts. She gently hugged his waist and said softly, Yuan, cultivate well in the Duhan continent. If one day I can break the restriction placed by the Heaven race at the Heaven Realm Gate, I will definitely come down to pick you up, Yi Chunfeng promised softly. Yes. Jiao Yuan nodded and revealed a blissful smile. After leaning against each other for a while, the two couldn't help but merge their souls together. Amidst the wonderful feeling, they cultivated the immortal soul technique. About 3 days later, the spirit boat arrived outside the Nine Heavens Imperial City's sphere of influence. Let's go, let's enter the city. In order to avoid unnecessary trouble, Yi Chunfeng controlled the illusion Dao intent and changed his appearance. With Jiao Yuan, who was as charming as a fairy, he walked towards the Central World's most prosperous and most famous city, the Nine Heavens Imperial City. So big, the Nine Heavens Imperial City's surface area is probably comparable to a mortal kingdom. Standing under the city gate that was dozens of feet tall and exuded a sense of vicissitudes of time, Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly deduce and sense the Nine Heavens Imperial City. He discovered that the Nine Heavens Imperial City was much bigger than he had imagined. It was like a country. Let's go, let's find a place to rest first and talk later. Yi Chunfeng held Jiao Yuan's soft hand and led her into the Nine Heavens Imperial City. They came to a beautiful inn under the green mountains in the city and walked in hand. Mobile reading website, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1465. How lively! When Yi Chunfeng walked into the inn, he discovered that it was extraordinarily lively. Melodious singing came from afar. Dozens of men and women with extraordinary identities, dressed in gorgeous clothes, were gathered on the lush green grass of the inn. Watermark advertisement test. What a beautiful girl! Yi Chunfeng held Jiao Yuan's soft hand and walked along a long corridor. When they passed by the banquet, a man wearing a flood dragon robe and snake-scale boots with sunken eyes couldn't help but light up. He was attracted by Zhao Yuyan's devastatingly beautiful appearance. "The two of you, go and investigate that girl's background." The flood dragon-robed man waved his hand. 5 before he called over 2 of his subordinates and gave an irresistible order. It was the crown prince. The 2 black-clothed men respectfully obeyed and followed Yi Chunfeng and Zhao Yuyan to the inn. After a while, the 2 black-clothed men returned and whispered a few words in the flood dragon-robed man's ear. "Haha, my luck is pretty good today. I actually met a peerless beauty from the outside world. This is going to be fun." After finding out that Yi Chunfeng and Zhao Yuyan were from the outside world and didn't seem to be very strong, the flood dragon-robed man was overjoyed. He left the banquet with his 2 subordinates and went to the room Yi Chunfeng and Zhao Yuyan were staying in with evil intentions. Dong dong dong. A series of knocks on the door entered Yi Chunfeng and Zhao Yuyan's ears. There really was someone who wasn't afraid of death. Yi Chunfeng's soul was very strong. He had already seen through the flood dragon-robed man's intentions. The corners of his lips curled up, revealing a trace of coldness. "Is there a problem?" Yi Chunfeng gently opened the door and looked at the flood dragon-robed man and his 2 subordinates who were fanning themselves with a jade fan. "I am the crown prince of the 2 heavenly king. I would like to make friends with you." The flood dragon-robed man raised his head slightly and said in an arrogant tone. Yi Chunfeng, who wasn't interested, replied coldly, "Please leave." "If I don't leave, what will happen to you?" The flood dragon-robed man's expression instantly turned gloomy. "It's not up to you." B68. With that, Yi Chunfeng's hands were as fast as lightning. He grabbed the neck of the man in the flood dragon robe and lifted him into the air like a chicken. Put down. The crown prince, seeing that the man in the flood dragon robe was in danger, his 2 followers quickly attacked Yi Chunfeng from both sides. However, before they could touch Yi Chunfeng, a force that was beyond their imagination slammed into their bodies, sending them flying. They crashed through the wall behind them and fell out of the inn. "My father is the Heavenly King Tuesday. If you dare to harm me, I can guarantee that you won't be able to leave the 9 heavens imperial city alive." The man in the flood dragon robe didn't expect Yi Chunfeng's strength to be so terrifying. He couldn't move as his neck was gripped by Yi Chunfeng. "Fine, I'll give the Heavenly King 2 face today and spare your life." Yi Chunfeng revealed a cold smile and said, "But I'm warning you, don't provoke me again. Otherwise, even the gods won't be able to save you." With that, Yi Chunfeng used a bit of strength and threw the man in the flood dragon robe flying. He crashed through the wall and fell out of the inn, causing a huge commotion. "Chunfeng, you humiliated him like this. Will there be any problems?" Zhao Yuyan said worriedly, afraid that the man in the flood dragon robe would ruin Yi Chunfeng's plan. "Don't worry, even if I kill him, it will only add a bit of trouble at most. It won't affect my plan." Di Jiutian was the first divine emperor of the 9 heavens divine kingdom. He had a very high position in the 9 heavens divine kingdom. "Let's go, we'll continue to cultivate the immortal soul technique. Tomorrow morning, we'll take a stroll in the imperial city and wait for an opportunity." With that, Yi Chunfeng held Zhao Yuyan's soft hand and went to the soft bed. He released his powerful soul and fused it with hers. In a state that made people infatuated and unable to extricate themselves, he cultivated the immortal soul technique. "Prince, how are you? Are you okay?" Looking at the man in the flood dragon robe, who was thrown out of the inn with a swollen face, the men and women who came to participate in the banquet surrounded him and asked with concern, "Damn it, I want their lives." The Heavenly King too had monstrous power in the 9 heavens divine kingdom. As his son, the man in the flood dragon robe was lawless in the 9 heavens divine kingdom. Very few people dared to provoke him. But now, he was thrown out of the inn. This made him unable to control the anger in his heart. He even treated Yi Chunfeng's warning as a passing wind. He immediately took out his communication pearl and sent a message to the imperial city imperial guards. Soon, more than 10 Imperial City Imperial guards wearing golden armor and holding divine weapons appeared and rushed into the inn. "Prince, who has the guts to hurt you?" Looking at the man in the flood dragon robe, whose face was bruised and swollen, a man in golden armor who looked like a captain quickly came to his side and asked respectfully, "Capture the 2 people in the leftmost room on the 3rd floor. I will personally cripple that man and break his 4 limbs. B68, let them know the consequences of provoking me," the flood dragon robe man fiercely ordered. "Yes, Prince." The man in golden armor obeyed and immediately led more than 10 Imperial City Imperial guards to capture Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuan. "Looks like you didn't remember the warning I just gave you." Suddenly, a thunderous voice resounded in the air. Yi Chunfeng held Jiao Yuan's soft hand and walked down from the void. He said without a trace of emotion, "It's them. Capture them." The furious flood dragon robe man ignored Yi Chunfeng's warning and loudly ordered. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Dazzling golden chains broke out of the Imperial City Imperial guards' bodies and sealed the void. They wrapped around Yi Chunfeng's group, wanting to bind them. "Humph!" Yi Chunfeng coldly snorted. The golden chains that were about to touch him seemed to have suffered a heavy blow. They trembled and shattered into pieces, falling to the ground. Seeing Yi Chunfeng shatter the golden chains without batting an eyelid, the captain's expression changed slightly, revealing a trace of seriousness. He knew how hard the golden chains were. They were comparable to a high-grade Tao artifact. Ordinary Nirvana powerhouses couldn't break them, let alone shatter them without batting an eyelid. "What are you standing there for? Hurry up and attack." Seeing Yi Chunfeng's shocking strength, the flood dragon robe man felt deeply uneasy. He loudly ordered the captain and the others, "Attack!" Although Yi Chunfeng was strong, the guard captain believed that Yi Chunfeng would not dare to start a massacre here, so he ordered loudly. Whoosh! Yi Chunfeng's body flashed. Like an invincible divine sword, he turned into the sky and flashed past the Imperial guards. He appeared in front of the man in the dragon robe who had turned pale with fright. Puff, puff. The moment he grabbed the neck of the man in the flood dragon robe, the bodies of the Imperial City Imperial guards that were leaping in the air exploded, turning into clouds of blood mist and dying. I said, "If you provoke me again, even the gods won't be able to save you." Yi Chunfeng lifted the wailing man in the flood dragon robe high up in the air. Under his terrified gaze, Yi Chunfeng twisted his neck and shattered his soul, killing him on the spot. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1466. Dead, the Crown Prince was killed. Who is this person? How could he be so bold as to kill the Crown Prince of Tu Wang in front of everyone? Does he want to die? No, this person is not simple. Perhaps the Crown Prince really offended someone he couldn't afford to offend. The men and women who came to attend the banquet were scared out of their wits as they looked at the dead Crown Prince lying in a pool of blood. They gathered together and looked at the calm Yi Chunfeng in horror as they whispered among themselves. "Net, I'm warning you, don't disturb us again. Otherwise, don't blame me for starting a massacre." Yi Chunfeng glanced at the captain of the guards, who was sweating profusely, and coldly warned him. Xiao Jiao and Yu Yan stepped through the air and returned to their room to rest. Captain, what should we do?" A golden-armored guard who was lucky enough to survive asked softly as he looked at the guard captain who was trembling slightly. "We'll send the Crown Prince's corpse to the king's mansion and let the king decide." The guard captain took a deep breath and calmed his panicked heart. Then, he quickly left with the man in the flood dragon robe, whose head had exploded. The night was getting darker and darker. Thick clouds covered the sky, making it impossible to see the stars. At this time, King Tu's mansion was brightly lit. Many experts had gathered. King Tu, who was wearing a Qilin robe and had a gloomy expression, was sitting in a wooden armchair. He looked at the corpse of the crown prince and fell into deep thought. Beside him, a voluptuous woman in a gorgeous dress was lying on the ground, crying loudly. "Your Highness, I died too miserably. You must avenge me. I must avenge him, but before that, I must find out who that person is." King Tu thought about how Yi Chunfeng had killed his son in front of everyone and didn't leave the inn. King Tu had some misgivings about Yi Chunfeng's identity. He used various channels to investigate him. "Your Highness, won't their identities be revealed by the time we catch them?" the charming woman said while weeping. "You're just a woman." Two heavenly kings scolded loudly. If it was a normal person, would they still dare to kill him after knowing his identity? What's more, he didn't leave immediately after killing me, which shows that he didn't take me seriously. That child's death must be avenged. The beautiful woman cried even louder. "I will definitely take revenge, but before that, I want to know who he is," King Tu said with a murderous glint in his eyes. "He dared to kill my son. I guarantee that he won't have a good ending." The night passed quickly. Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan cultivated the indestructible soul art for an entire night. Their souls had been refined, and they were brimming with energy. They left the inn hand in hand and strolled around the Nine Heavens Imperial City. Just as the two of them left the inn, Yi Chunfeng glanced at the northwest and southeast directions from the corner of his eyes. He discovered that there were spies secretly observing him. However, he didn't care about this. If King Tu recklessly provoked him, he wouldn't mind killing King Tu as well. This Nine Heavens Imperial City is so lively. Jiao Yuyan held Yi Chunfeng's hand tightly as she looked at the luxurious shops and pavilions on both sides of the street and said excitedly, "Yuyan, if there's anything you like, just tell me and I'll buy it for you," Yi Chunfeng said with a smile. "Okay," Jiao Yuyan said happily. Lu Mang. Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan chatted as they strolled around the city. When they were walking towards the center of the city, Yi Chunfeng unexpectedly saw a familiar figure. The corners of his mouth slightly rose, and Jiao Yuyan gently walked over. "When I went out today, my eyelids kept twitching. I was wondering what kind of good thing would happen today. I didn't expect that not long after I went out, I would meet the most beautiful goddess I've ever seen in my life." The coarse Lu Mang narrowed his eyes and looked at a charming woman wearing a snow-white robe. Her skin was as smooth as milk, and she had a charming appearance. "Beauty, can we get to know each other?" "No." The white-robed woman looked at Lu Mang with disgust and coldly said, "Why?" Lu Mang said with a sad face. "Because you're too ugly," the white-robed woman said rudely. "It doesn't matter. You may think that I'm ugly now, but maybe after a while, you won't think that I'm ugly anymore." Lu Mang was not angry, nor did he give up. He continued to pester her. "Moreover, I have a gentle personality. I'm a very good man. I'm afraid that if I look at you for too long, I'll vomit," the white-robed woman said angrily. "Get out of my way, don't block my way. No, don't leave. If you leave, my heart will be broken." Lu Mang used his tall and sturdy body to block in front of the white-robed woman. "If you continue to pester me, I'll call for help," the white-robed woman warned angrily. Looking at the shameless Lu Mang, Yi Chunfeng helplessly shook his head and walked over. "All right, brother Lu Mang. A melon picked forcefully is not sweet. Miss, you're the only goddess in my heart. Can we get to know each other?" Looking at Jiao Yuyan, who was beside Yi Chunfeng, Lu Mang's eyes lit up with a fiery light. He immediately gave up on the white-robed woman, who was so angry that her face turned pale, and walked over. "Sigh." Yi Chunfeng helplessly sighed and said, "Brother Lu Mang, I'm Feng Qin. I have something to discuss with you. Let's find a quiet place to talk." Feng Qin. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's familiar voice, Lu Mang's heart trembled. His narrowed eyes became wider and wider. Looking at Yi Chunfeng's unfamiliar face, He revealed a doubtful expression. I've changed my appearance. Yi Chunfeng smiled and told Lu Meng about the few times he had met Lu Meng. You're really Brother Feng? Lu Meng said excitedly, and this is… I'm Feng Chen's confidant. Jiao Yuyan answered generously. Sigh, Brother Feng, you're really capable to have such a beauty as your companion. Lu Meng sighed and said, Forget it, I won't argue with you. Come, let's go to Sky Gazing Pavilion for a drink. Brother Feng, why did you suddenly come to Nine Heavens Royal City? Even though Lu Meng had heard of Feng Chen's name before, he didn't think too much about it. After all, Yi Chunfeng hadn't been in the Central World for a long time. He didn't believe that Yi Chunfeng could do such earth-shattering things again and again. I came to Nine Heavens Royal City for some matters. Yi Chunfeng vaguely said, Oh right, Brother Lu Meng, did something big happen in Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom recently? Yes, something big really happened in my Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom recently. Lu Meng nodded and said, Not long ago, a great character returned to my Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom. Can you guess who it is? Who is it? Yi Chunfeng smiled faintly and took a sip of the fragrant wine. It's our Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom's first God King. Lu Meng transmitted his voice and said, It's unbelievable that he's still alive. Apart from this, what else happened in Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom recently? Yi Chunfeng calmly asked. In order to celebrate the return of God King Z, our Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom is celebrating. Many great powers have come to congratulate us. In order to attract more people and create more influence, our Nine Heavens royal family is going to hold a big auction. Lu Meng said. Auction? Yi Chunfeng's eyes lit up. He was very interested in the auction held by the Nine Heavens imperial family. Brother Lu Meng, when will the auction be held? Yi Chunfeng asked. The auction will be held in 7 days. Lu Meng drank the wine in his cup and said, If Brother Feng is interested, I can bring you to participate. Okay, then many thanks. Yi Chunfeng filled Lu Meng's cup with wine and clinked his cup with Lu Meng's before downing it in one gulp. Remember the website. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 1467. Yi Chunfeng and Lu Meng drank and chatted in the Sky Gazing restaurant for the entire afternoon. They only left when the sky gradually darkened. Brother Lu Meng, we will meet again in 7 days. Yi Chunfeng tactfully rejected Lu Meng's good intentions to arrange a place for them to stay. He then took Jiao Yuyan's soft hand and left. Chunfeng, where are we going now? Jiao Yuyan leaned her head on Yi Chunfeng's arm and asked softly. To King Tu's residence and have a talk with King Tu. In order to participate in the auction smoothly, Yi Chunfeng decided to intimidate King Tu in advance. He wanted to make him behave and not cause trouble for him. Stop. This is King Tu's residence. Outsiders are not allowed to enter. Yi Chunfeng held Jiao Yuyan's soft hand and arrived at King Tu's residence. When they arrived at the heavily guarded King Tu's residence, the guards of the King Tu's residence locked their gazes on the two of them and warned them loudly. Buzz! Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrank. A terrifying soul power burst out like a surging tide and crashed into the two's soul seas, knocking them unconscious. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng waved his arm lightly and tore apart the formations and restrictions that enveloped the residence. He brought Jiao Yuyan, who was enveloped in an illusory light and whose true appearance could not be seen, into the residence of Heavenly King Tuesday. They walked toward the residence of Heavenly King Tuesday. On the way to King Tu's courtyard, Yi Chunfeng encountered many guards of the King Tu's residence. However, these guards were all stunned by Yi Chunfeng's stun art and fainted before they could issue a warning. Soon, Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan arrived at the center of the mansion. There was a courtyard that was built like a garden. They broke through the restrictions of the courtyard and walked inside. They could hear the sounds of women's joyous voices rising and falling one after another. This King Tu is in a good mood. His son just died and he still has the mood to flirt with each other. The corners of Yi Qinfeng's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a playful smile. As for Jiao Yuyan, who was leaning against him, her face was as red as an apple. She was so pretty and lovely that people couldn't help but want to take a bite out of her. Who is it? Since Yi Qinfeng and Jiao Yuyan did not intentionally conceal their auras, when the two of them appeared in the courtyard, Tu Tianwang, who was currently pressing down on a charming woman and exerting all his strength, immediately noticed them. He quickly put on his clothes and roared, "Tu Heavenly King, I hope I didn't spoil your mood by visiting so late at night." Yi Qinfeng stood outside the house in silence. Looking at the main house that was lit up, he revealed a faint smile and said in a deep voice, "How dare you trespass into my Heavenly King Tu's manor?" Draped in a Qilin robe, Heavenly King Tu's eyes were spitting fire as he rushed out of the main house. He roared loudly, "Where are the guards? Why aren't you quickly capturing these two criminals?" Hearing Heavenly King Tu's shout, the guards of the Wang mansion rushed over. They held powerful Dao weapons in their hands and attacked Yi Qinfeng. Buzz, buzz, buzz. When the guards approached Yi Qinfeng, an unimaginable dizziness blasted into their soul seas, tearing their souls apart. Their vision turned black and they fainted on the spot. "You, who are you?" Seeing Yi Qinfeng knock out everyone without batting an eyelid, Heavenly King Tu's snow-white eyebrows twitched slightly. A huge wave surged in his heart. The way he looked at Yi Qinfeng changed greatly. He did not expect Yi Qinfeng to be so strong. A trace of unease appeared in his heart. "I am the person who killed your son." Yi Qinfeng calmly looked at Heavenly King Tu and said indifferently, "So it was you." Heavenly King Tu's pupils constricted. His eyes were filled with rage. "You are quite bold. You killed my son and still dare to come to my Wang mansion to show off. It seems like you do not respect this king at all." Heavenly King Tu, I originally thought that you were a smart person. Today I realize that I was wrong about you. I did not expect you to be so pedantic. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said fearlessly, "If you want to avenge your son, then do it. I hope you do not regret this decision. What enmity do you have with my son? Why do you want to kill him?" Heavenly King Tu looked at the calm and fearless Yi Qinfeng. Several thoughts flashed through his mind. He gradually calmed down and asked in a low voice, "I have no enmity with your son. If it wasn't for him constantly provoking me and wanting to harm me, I wouldn't have taken his life. He only has himself to blame for this. I came today to resolve the enmity between us, but I see that you do not appreciate it." Yi Qinfeng did not want to expose his relationship with Di Jiutian too early and had no intention of destroying Heavenly King Tu's mansion. "My son provoked you." Heavenly King Tu slightly frowned. "Don't you know what kind of person your son is?" Yi Qinfeng said rudely. "But you should not have killed him." Heavenly King Tu gradually calmed down and said in a low voice, "I'm not here to argue with you today." Yi Qinfeng said somewhat impatiently, "I'm standing right here. If you want to take revenge, go ahead and do it." As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng waved his arm, and a terrifying Dao power gushed out of his palm, fiercely bombarding the space in front of him. The terrifying power directly collapsed a large area of space, and set off a shocking wave. A peak Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert. Heavenly King Tu's expression greatly changed after seeing Yi Qinfeng's collapse of space. All thoughts of attacking completely disappeared. "I came to the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom this time for the old God King. If it wasn't for the old God King's face, I wouldn't have come here to give you an explanation." Yi Qinfeng looked at Heavenly King Tu and coldly said. With that, Yi Qinfeng did not stay at the mansion for long. He left with Jiao Yuyan, who was shrouded in an illusory light. "Your Highness, are you all right?" After Yi Qinfeng and Jiao Yuyan left, a woman wearing a black chiffon nightgown walked out of the main room. Her hair was slightly messy and her figure was graceful. She looked at Heavenly King Tu, who was in deep thought, and asked in a delicate voice, "I'm fine. You should rest first." Heavenly King Tu took a deep breath and looked at Yi Qinfeng's back as he left. His brows furrowed even tighter. Qingfeng, do you think Heavenly King Tu won't be able to swallow this and will take revenge on us at all costs? Jiao Yuyan gently hugged Yi Qinfeng's arm and said worriedly, if he is smart, he won't take revenge on us before figuring out my identity. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said, moreover, I feel that he doesn't care about the son I killed. But young Master Lu Mang knows your identity. Jiao Yuyan said, I left a soul imprint on Lu Mang's body. If Heavenly King Tu doesn't know what's good for him and continues to investigate me, then there's no need to keep him alive. Yi Qinfeng said with cold killing intent. With Di Jiutian backing him up, even if the sky fell, there would be someone to support him. Yi Qinfeng had no worries in Nine Heavens Imperial City. However, Yi Qinfeng did not want to reveal his relationship with Di Jiutian too early. He came to Nine Heavens Imperial City for a bigger reason. P.S. Yi Wuji's picture has been posted. Add all your friends on WeChat. Asia's #1 beauty, big breasts, perky butt, hot body, perfect proportions. Follow WeChat. Mainvlian1, long press 3 seconds to copy and watch online. Chapter 1468. The night was getting darker. Young Master Yi, you've come to the Nine Heavens Divine Nation. Di Jiutian, who was wearing a white robe, opened his eyes and looked at the communication formation disk shining with white light in a cave in the depths of Jiutian Imperial Palace. Yes, I've just come to the Nine Heavens Divine Nation. Yi Qinfeng's voice sounded in the communication bead. Young Master Yi, what do you need me to do? Although Di Jiutian guessed that Yi Qinfeng didn't come with good intentions, his life was in Yi Qinfeng's hands, so he had no choice but to listen to Yi Qinfeng's orders. Di Jiutian, I want to borrow your hand to order the Nine Heavens Divine Nation to start a war with the Eight-Head Divine Nation and the Kirin Kingdom. Yi Qinfeng said. Young Master Yi, starting a war is no small matter. I've just returned, so if I start a war without permission, it might alarm the two heavenly venerables of the Nine Heavens Divine Nation and cause unnecessary trouble. Even if we start a war, we won't be able to destroy the foundation of the Eight-Head Divine Nation. Di Jiutian said worriedly. Why was this so? Did the Eight-Head Divine Nation have other trump cards besides the ancient demon venerables? The three divine nations had stood tall in the fighting spirit continent for countless years. Other than having demon venerables and heavenly venerables, they also had the projection of the three races. Di Jiutian revealed an important piece of information to Yi Qinfeng. The projection of the three races? Yi Qinfeng was surprised. He didn't expect the three divine nations to have such a deep foundation. Di Jiutian, what kind of experts would the projection of the three races summon? Yi Qinfeng pondered for a moment and asked. For example, if the Nine Heavens Divine Nation is on the verge of destruction, it will attract the projection of a heavenly emperor. However, the projection is our greatest trump card and can only be used once. Unless it's absolutely necessary, we won't use it. Di Jiutian told Di Jiutian everything. The projection of the heavenly emperor, Yi Qinfeng, took a deep breath and said, Then who controls the projection of the Nine Heavens Divine Nation? The projection of the Nine Heavens Divine Nation should be controlled by Heavenly Venerate Di Jiutian. Di Jiutian said, Alright, I got it. Wait for my news. With that, Yi Qinfeng ended his call with Di Jiutian. Di Jiutian, it seems like you have a lot of concerns. Looking at the communication pearl in his hand, Yi Qinfeng's expression gradually darkened. After communicating with Di Jiutian, Yi Qinfeng could sense his worries. After pondering for a moment, he decided to carry out the plan. He would force Di Jiutian to have no way out and tear off all pretense of cordiality with the Nine Heavens Imperial family, going all out against Nine Heavens Divine Nation. Days passed, Yi Qinfeng and Jiao Yuyan strolled around the Nine Heavens Imperial City during the day and hid in an inn to cultivate the undying soul art at night. While their souls were intertwined, the two of them completely opened up their hearts. Their bodies and minds blended together as they accepted each other. They could not help but secretly taste the forbidden fruit. Jiao Yuyan's beauty, her smooth and perfect body, and her fiery passion completely ignited Yi Chenfeng. The two of them sublimated their bodies, minds, and souls in their endless joy, composing beautiful movements again and again. Very quickly, 7 days passed. Let's go to the auction house. Yi Chenfeng looked at the fairy-like Jiao Yuyan. Her complexion was delicate and her body was perfect. She had changed into a pure white dress and looked like a fairy. He left the room with her and headed to the auction house early. When they arrived at the auction hall in the west of the city, which was built like a giant water droplet and shone brightly, they saw Lu Mang waiting for them with 2 plump and flirtatious women in his arms. "Sorry, I'm a bit late." Looking at Lu Mang hugging 2 beauties in each arm, Yi Chenfeng revealed a faint smile. "You're not late, I've also just arrived. Let's go in." Lu Mang took out 2 dark golden invitation cards and gave them to Yi Chenfeng and Jiao Yuyan. He brought them into the bustling auction house. Delinga Jian Tianzi. Walking into the auction house, 2 familiar figures entered Yi Chenfeng's eyes. These 2 people were the 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom's crown prince, Delinga, and the sword sex peerless genius, Jian Tianzi, who possessed the Xiantian sword body. However, Yi Chenfeng had controlled the illusory spirit-level Dao diagram to change his appearance, and Jiao Yuyan's appearance had also been altered by Yi Chenfeng. Delinga and Jian Tianzi did not recognize them. "Brother Feng, that man in front of us is my 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom's crown prince. The woman beside him is his fiancée, the sword-sex peerless genius, Jian Tianzi." Looking at Delinga and Jian Tianzi walking in front of him, Lu Mang narrowed his eyes and spoke with a sound transmission. "Fiancé?" Yi Chenfeng's lips curled up in a cold smile. He didn't think Delinga would really pursue Jian Tianzi. Just as Yi Chenfeng's group slowed down and arrived at the luxurious auction hall, Yi Chenfeng's pupils shrank. He locked onto a man in a golden flood dragon robe with a crown on his head. This man had an extraordinary bearing, as if he was Nirvana, and he was standing in the center of the auction hall. Beside him were many experts from various large powers, all of them lowering their posture and chatting with him. "Brother Lu Mang, that person is your 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom's Di Feiyang, right?" Yi Chenfeng said softly as he gently raised his finger and pointed at the arrogant and domineering man standing there. "Brother Feng, don't point randomly. If the Son of Heaven discovers that you're pointing at him in front of everyone, you'll lose your life." Lu Mang didn't think that Yi Chenfeng would be so bold as to point at Di Feiyang in front of everyone. His expression changed and he quickly warned. "Don't worry, Brother Lu Mang. In this world, no one can threaten my life," Yi Chenfeng said arrogantly with a faint smile. After saying this, Yi Chenfeng, who intended to make a big fuss about this auction, pulled Jiao Yuyan away, not wanting to implicate Lu Mang. Looking at Yi Chenfeng's back, Lu Mang fell into deep thought. He smelled something unusual and hesitated for a moment. In the end, he didn't follow them. Yi Chenfeng and Jiao Yuyan sat in a relatively remote corner and waited in silence for the auction to begin. "Yuyan, if there's anything you like, just tell me. I'll help you bid for it," Yi Chenfeng said in a rich and imposing manner. "All right, then I won't be polite." After doing the most intimate thing, the 2 of them were pulled closer. Jiao Yuyan tightly hugged Yi Chenfeng's arm and said with a sweet expression. As time passed, more and more people came to participate in the auction. There was no lack of Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts among them. It was obvious that the 9 Heavens Imperial Family's auction this time had attracted the attention of Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts. While waiting for the auction to begin, the dazzling hall was filled with shimmering moonlight stones and crystal lights. What they talked about the most was the matter of Yi Chenfeng and the others massacring the Yamada Imperial Palace. Hearing everyone talking about him, Yi Chenfeng, who was resting with his eyes closed, revealed a faint smile. Roughly 2 hours later, dazzling beams of light illuminated the slowly rising auction platform. An Earth Nirvana realm old man wearing a white Taoist robe, with snow-white hair and a beard, appeared before everyone's eyes. The Nine Heavens Imperial Family Auction had begun. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this book. Next time you open your bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1469. Welcome to my Empyrean Imperial Family's auction. In order to celebrate the return of my Empyrean Imperial Family's first God King, I have specially prepared 108 precious treasures for everyone. I guarantee that everyone will be satisfied. An old man in a white Taoist robe glanced around the hall, where more than 300 influential figures of the Central World were sitting. Test of watermark advertisement. Watermark advertisement test. Alright, I won't take up any more of your precious time. I hereby announce that the auction has officially begun. As he spoke, the auction hall in front of the old man in a Taoist robe shone with white light, and a 9 feet 9 inches long spear appeared in front of everyone's line of sight. A giant dragon was coiled around the spear's body, and a large crystal was inlaid on the spearhead. The first item to be auctioned this time is a quasi-saint coiling dragon spear that my Empyrean Divine Kingdom's #1 Saint Master, the Nirvanic Saint Master, spent 49 days to refine. Furthermore, there are 9,999 offensive runes on the spear. Its offensive power is close to that of a low-grade saint artifact. The old man introduced the coiling dragon spear in detail, which piqued the interest of many people. The starting price of the coiling dragon spear is 100 low-grade heaven crystals. Everyone may begin bidding. Low-grade heaven crystals. No one thought that the auction's currency would be low-grade heaven crystals instead of supreme-grade soul crystals. Yi Chunfeng slowly opened his eyes and revealed a faint smile. After reaching the second level of the universe realm, he had obtained 15 million low-grade heaven crystals and 30,000 mid-grade heaven crystals. With his current wealth, no one could compete with him. Even the Empyrean Imperial Family might not have that many low-grade heaven crystals. 150 low-grade heaven crystals, 200 low-grade heaven crystals, 300 low-grade heaven crystals. In the end, the quasi-saint coiling dragon spear that the Nirvanic Saint Master had spent close to 50 days refining was won by a Nirvana powerhouse from the Kirin Kingdom for 660 low-grade heaven crystals. After the transaction, the Taoist-robed old man took out the second auction item. It was a sage-level sword. It was embedded with 7 treasures, and a strong sword intent was flowing on its surface. After breaking through to become a 5-star Tao Saint, Yi Chunfeng's horizons had increased significantly. A mere quasi-sacred artifact longsword was no longer able to attract him. He did not participate in the bidding for this longsword. In the end, this longsword was won by someone at the price of 600 low-grade heaven crystals. After the quasi-holy sword was won, the Taoist-robed old man sold several more quasi-holy artifacts. Among them was a quasi-holy artifact bronze shield that was covered in ancient patterns and embedded with a beast head. It was sold for 1,400 low-grade heavenly crystals, setting the highest price in this auction. The 10th auction item was a bottle of golden jade liquid. The greatest effect of the golden jade elixir was to cleanse the meridians, allowing one to be reborn. It was most effective for battle beast emperors. The starting price is 100 inferior grade heavenly crystals. Everyone, you may bid now, the old man in Taoist robes explained in detail as he held up a white jade bottle. Jin Yuya, hearing the old man's explanation, Yi Chunfeng's eyes lit up. Although this golden jade elixir was useless to him, it was very important to Zhao Yuan. If Zhao Yuan could use the golden jade elixir to cleanse her body and be reborn, Yi Chunfeng was confident that he could help her break through to level 6 Battle Beast Emperor in a short time. Yi Chunfeng was not the only one who had a strong interest in the golden jade elixir. Many people were also interested in it. Soon, the price of the golden jade elixir surpassed the bronze shield and reached 1,500 low-grade heavenly crystals. 1,500 low-grade heavenly crystals. There were still people who continued to increase the price. The Taoist-robed old man was very satisfied with this auction price. He looked around and asked loudly. 2,000 low-grade heavenly crystals. Yi Chunfeng, who was sitting in a corner far away, opened his mouth to bid for the first time. The bald man with a burly figure and explosive muscles all over his body glared at Yi Chunfeng warningly. He gritted his teeth and continued to bid. 2,100 low-grade heavenly crystals. 2,500 low-grade heavenly crystals. Yi Chunfeng ignored the bald man's warning gaze and continued to bid in silence. 3,000 low-grade heavenly crystals. The golden jade elixir was extremely important to him. The bald man gritted his teeth and decided to make a final gamble. 3,500 low-grade heavenly crystals. Yi Chunfeng increased the price without hesitation, directly crushing the bald man's thoughts of bidding. In the end, the rich and overbearing Yi Chunfeng successfully won the precious golden jade elixir for Jiao Yuan. After the golden jade elixir, the Taoist-robed old man took out a few rare items to auction. However, these items could not move Yi Chunfeng, so he did not bid. The 79th auction item was a low-grade Saint artifact battle saber that the Saint Sovereign of Nirvana and Half-Moon Saint Sovereign worked together for almost 2 months to refine. The Taoist-robed old man raised a battle saber that was engraved with profound Saint artifact runes and was over 10,000 pounds in weight and introduced it loudly. The starting price is 1,000 low-grade heavenly crystals. Everyone may start bidding. Although low-grade heavenly crystals were rare and precious, low-grade saint artifacts were even more precious. If one could obtain a low-grade saint artifact, it would greatly increase one's battle prowess. Under the fierce competition, the price of this low-grade saint artifact battle saber rose steadily. In the end, it was won by a Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert for 6,000 low-grade heavenly crystals. After the low-grade saint saber, the Taoist-robed old man took out several low-grade saint artifacts to auction. However, there were no saint swords among these saint artifacts. Yi Chunfeng waited in silence. There was no competition. The 90th auction item is a low-grade saint artifact battle armor, the Rainbow Jade Robe, that our Nine Heavens Imperial family's old divine sovereign found in an ancient ruin. If it wasn't for the fact that this Rainbow Jade Robe was only suitable for females, our Nine Heavens Imperial family would not be willing to auction it. The starting price is 3,000 low-grade heavenly crystals. Everyone may start bidding. The Taoist-robed old man held a battle armor that was emitting a dazzling multicolored light that seemed to be woven from countless feathers. The moment the Rainbow Jade Robe was taken out, Jian Tianzi's eyes lit up. Jiao Yuan also revealed a look of love. 30,000 low-grade heavenly crystals catching Jiao Yuan's gaze, Yi Chunfeng did not hesitate to bid, increasing the price of the Rainbow Jade Robe by 10 times. This price caused a huge commotion. Damn, who is this fellow? Why does he have so many low-grade heavenly crystals on him? The Central Great Realm did not produce heavenly crystals. Hence, heavenly crystals were extremely rare in the Central Great Realm. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's overbearing bid, it attracted the attention of many people. 35,000 low-grade heavenly crystals. Delinga took a deep breath and increased the price. This Rainbow Jade Robe is something that my fiancé liked. Can you give it to us? If you are willing, Delinga, will befriend you. When Delinga increased the price, he sent a message to Yi Chunfeng, wanting to use his identity to pressure him. 40,000 low-grade heavenly crystals. Yi Chunfeng did not care and continued to increase the price, angering Delinga so much that his expression turned gloomy. 40,000 low-grade heavenly crystals. There was still someone who increased the price? The Taoist-robed old man looked at the calm Yi Chunfeng in surprise and shouted. Although the Rainbow Jade Robe was precious, 40,000 low-grade heavenly crystals far exceeded the estimation in everyone's heart. In the end, Dilinga had no choice but to give up. The rainbow jade robe was won by Yi Chunfeng without any suspense. Mobile reading website, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. The next time you open the bookshelf, you can see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1470. Who is that person? Why does he have so many low-grade heaven crystals? I don't know. He looks unfamiliar. I've never seen him before. I wonder if he's wearing a disguise. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. No matter what. He's dead meat after offending the first prince of the Nine Heavens imperial family. Seeing Yi Chunfeng pay 40,000 low-grade heaven crystals for the 100 colors jade robe, the entire auction hall burst into discussions. Yi Chunfeng became the focus of attention. Many people were secretly paying attention to him. Yuyan, this 100 colors jade robe is for you. Yi Chunfeng was not stingy. He gave the 100 colors jade robe to Zhao Yuyan, making her very excited. Alright, everyone quiet down. The 91st auction item is 10 drops of essence blood extracted from the heart of a low-grade saint beast. The starting price is 1,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Everyone can start bidding now. As he spoke, a crystal-shaped stone appeared in the Taoist-robed old man's hand. Sealed within this stone were 10 drops of Saint Beast essence blood. Saint Beast essence blood. Looking at the Saint Beast essence blood in the Taoist-robed old man's hand, Yi Chunfeng did not hesitate to bid 10,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's bid, the dazzling auction hall once again fell into an uproar. Many people were very curious about Yi Chunfeng's background. Sitting at the very front of the auction hall, Di Feiyang, who was elegantly drinking tea, glanced at Yi Chunfeng, who was in the limelight, and revealed a thought-provoking smile. He put down the teacup in his hand and said, 20,000 low-grade heaven crystals. 30,000 low-grade heaven crystals. The space-swallowing bug was very important to Yi Chunfeng. In order to let it evolve quickly and increase its ability to swallow space, Yi Chunfeng was willing to pay any price for these 10 drops of Saint Beast essence blood. 50,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Di Feiyang lightly tapped the armrest as he increased the bid. Although 50,000 low-grade heaven crystals was nothing to Yi Chunfeng, he had a feeling that Di Feiyang was deliberately making things difficult for him. He frowned slightly and looked at Di Feiyang's position from afar. He increased the bid, 100,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Interesting guy. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's bid, Di Feiyang was also surprised. Then, a smile appeared on his face and he did not continue to bid. F***ck, is that guy crazy? 100,000 low-grade heaven crystals to buy 10 drops of holy beast blood essence? Isn't this too much of a wastrel? 100,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Could it be that this fellow had discovered a heavenly domain treasure? Everyone present was once again shocked by Yi Chunfeng's bid. Some people even cast malicious glances at Yi Chunfeng. After Yi Chunfeng successfully bought the 10 drops of Saint Beast blood essences, the Taoist-robed old man took out a few more precious natural treasures to auction. Yi Chunfeng wanted to test Di Feiyang, so he bid for every natural treasure. Every time he bid, Di Feiyang and Di Linga would immediately increase the price, confirming his guess. No matter if it was Di Feiyang or Di Linga, they didn't want him to be in the limelight. They both wanted to extort him and make him bleed, making him a sucker. Di Feiyang, Di Linga, since you want to play, I'll play with you. I hope you won't cry in the end. Yi Chunfeng's eyes flashed as he thought in his heart. The 101st treasure is 3 drops of mid-grade holy beast vermilion bird crown blood. These 3 drops of vermilion bird crown blood have an extraordinary origin. If it wasn't to celebrate the return of my 9 heavens divine kingdom's old divine emperor, His Majesty the Divine Emperor wouldn't be willing to take them out for auction. The starting price is 10,000 low-grade heaven crystals. The Taoist-robed old man took out a crystal that sealed 3 drops of vermilion bird crown blood and announced loudly, 100,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Di Feiyang drank a mouthful of tea and was the first to bid. He raised the price of the vermilion bird crown blood by 10 times. 500,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Seeing Di Feiyang's gaze, Yi Qinfeng's expression did not change at all. He raised the price of the vermilion bird crown blood by 5 times. 500,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Just how many heaven crystals did that guy have on him? The moment Yi Qinfeng's words left his mouth, the entire auction hall shook. Almost everyone looked at him. 500,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's bid, Di Feiyang frowned. Although he wanted to continue bidding, he did not have that many low-grade heaven crystals on him. If he continued bidding and Yi Qinfeng suddenly gave up, he would definitely become a laughingstock. Thinking of this, Di Feiyang's eyes narrowed. He did not continue bidding and gave up on bidding with Yi Qinfeng. 500,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? The Taoist-robed old man looked at the silent Di Feiyang and asked loudly. All right, since no one is bidding, I'll announce that the vermilion bird crown blood is won by this young master. 500,000 low-grade heaven crystals was greatly out of the Taoist-robed old man's expectations. However, after observing Di Feiyang and Di Linga's expressions, he still sensed something unusual. After the vermilion bird crown blood, the Taoist-robed old man took out 3 more rare items. However, these 3 items were unable to attract Yi Qinfeng's attention, so he did not bid. The 105th treasure was 500 grams of black tainted blood. Black tainted blood was the nemesis of all saint treasures. It could turn the tide at a crucial moment. The starting price is 10,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Everyone may bid now. The Taoist-robed old man took out the black tainted blood sealed in the jade bottle and announced loudly. Black tainted blood. Yi Qinfeng had obtained the black tainted blood from the Tao addict before. However, it was too precious, and he was reluctant to use it. If he could successfully obtain this 500 grams of black tainted blood, it would be of great help to him. Yi Qinfeng was not the only one who had developed a strong interest in the black tainted blood. Di Feiyang, Di Linga, and the others were also very interested in the black tainted blood. They all increased their bids. Soon, the price of the black tainted blood skyrocketed to 50,000 low-grade heaven crystals. 60,000 low-grade heaven crystals. A woman in a tight black dress with her long and slender legs coiled around each other, and her body was like a ripe peach. She was filled with an enchanting charm, and she gently twirled her long hair that hung down to her chest with her fingers as she offered a price. 100,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Although Di Feiyang was the emperor of the 9 heavens divine kingdom, he did not have the authority to use the treasures in the 9 heavens divine kingdom's treasury. Thus, he also developed a strong interest in the black tainted blood and increased his bid. 500,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Just as Di Feiyang finished speaking, Yi Qinfeng, who was leaning on his seat, revealed a faint smile and increased his bid. Crack! Hearing Yi Qinfeng's bid, Di Feiyang's expression changed slightly. His right hand could not help but exert force and crush the teacup in his hand. Crazy, crazy! This guy definitely obtained the heaven region's treasure. Is he not afraid of being targeted by others by flaunting his wealth like this? I think there will be a good show after the auction ends. I just don't know if he will be able to leave the 9 heavens divine kingdom alive. Yi Qinfeng's bid once again shocked everyone present, causing everyone to go crazy. Yi Qinfeng also became the focus of discussion. Interesting, this guy actually went against Di Feiyang time and time again. It seems like he doesn't understand Di Feiyang very well and doesn't know that he is a narrow-minded person. Di Linga's lips curled up slightly as she gloated in her heart. Jian Tianzi looked at Yi Qinfeng as if she was looking at a dead person. Her eyes were filled with killing intent. Mobile reading site, book address, For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1471. Alright, now we will auction off the 106 treasure. This treasure is a small branch that my 9 heavens divine kingdom's old god sovereign brought out from the outer periphery of sky beyond. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. The Taoist-robed old man picked up a branch that was as thick as a child's arm and less than half a meter long. It was completely black without a single pattern. What was so special about this branch? Looking at the branch in the Taoist-robed old man's hand, many people voiced their doubts. They simply couldn't see what was so special about this branch. The old god sovereign had accidentally obtained this small branch in the outer periphery of sky beyond and had begun studying it. However, the old god sovereign had studied it for tens of thousands of years. Besides discovering that this branch was harder than a medium-grade saint artifact, he hadn't been able to uncover its secrets. However, the old god sovereign had once said that this branch definitely had a secret. It was just that he didn't have enough faith with this branch to be able to unravel it. Thus, he had brought this sword to this auction to find a fated person. The Taoist-robed old man said, "This branch." Yi Chenfeng's deep gaze locked onto this small branch. At this time, the God-Eater brain was rapidly deducing. After the God-Eater brain's perception was amplifying tens of thousands of times every second, his eyes lit up. The flow of time within this branch was somewhat different. Could this be a branch from one of the 3 great divine trees of the universe, the Time Divine Tree? According to the inherited memories of the God-Eater brain, Yi Chenfeng knew that there were 3 great divine trees in the universe: the Chaos Divine Tree, the Time Divine Tree, and the Space Divine Tree. And through the God-Eater brain's perception, he felt that this branch was very likely a branch from the Time Divine Tree. And the Time Divine Tree contained the complete laws of time. Even a branch contained the laws of time. Yi Chenfeng didn't think that there would be such a good item in this auction. This trip really wasn't in vain. He faintly smiled, his heart filled with excitement. If he could obtain this branch from the Time Divine Tree and comprehend the laws of time, it would greatly increase his foundation and increase his attack methods. The starting bid for this branch is 100,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Everyone may begin bidding. After the Taoist-robed old man finished introducing the branch, he loudly announced, 100,000 low-grade heaven crystals for a branch of unknown origin. Hearing the Taoist-robed old man's bid, the vast majority of people dispelled any thoughts of bidding. The entire auction hall fell silent. Just as the Taoist-robed elder thought that the auction would go unsold, Yi Chenfeng bid 100,000 inferior-grade heaven crystals. Di Feiyang, who was drinking tea in silence, revealed a trace of surprise when he heard that Yi Chenfeng actually had so many inferior-grade heaven crystals. He put down his teacup and hesitated before saying, 300,000 inferior-grade heaven crystals. 500,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Although Yi Chenfeng guessed that Di Feiyang did not have that many low-grade heaven crystals, he had 30,000 mid-grade heaven crystals. Low-grade heaven crystals were practically useless to him. Furthermore, he was determined to obtain this branch that was suspected to be the divine wood of time. He did not hesitate to increase the price. 500,000. Did he find something special about this branch? Hearing Yi Chenfeng's bid, Di Feiyang's brows furrowed even tighter. His deep gaze stared fixedly at the pitch-black tree branch. He really wanted to know why Yi Chenfeng was willing to spend such a sky-high price to buy this tree branch. 500,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Was there anyone else who wanted to raise the price? The Taoist-robed old man was also startled by Yi Chenfeng's bid. It could be said that such a sky-high price far exceeded his imagination. Damn it, who is this fellow? Does he have an endless supply of inferior-grade heaven crystals? Just wait and see. I want to see how he is going to deal with this after the auction. I wonder who will benefit from all the treasures on him? At this moment, many people firmly believed that Yi Chunfeng, who was in the limelight during the auction, would definitely end up in tragedy. Since no one announced it, then I will announce that this young master is the fated person for this tree branch. The Taoist-robed old man took a deep look at Yi Chunfeng, who shocked him time and time again. He handed the black tree branch to a woman with a voluptuous figure. Then, he walked over to Yi Chunfeng's side and completed the transaction with him. Chingfeng, is there anything special about this tree branch? Jiao Yuyan gently stroked the black tree branch. She did not find anything special about it, so she asked curiously. I will tell you after I study it properly, Yi Chunfeng said mysteriously as he put away the black tree branch into the universe mirror. Alright, everyone quiet down. The second last treasure of this auction was an ancient formation diagram that had the ability to cover the sky and cover the sun, the ancient sky shrouding diagram. Once the ancient sky shrouding diagram was activated, it would cover a radius of several dozen kilometers. Even if a Nirvana heavenly realm expert was trapped inside, they would not be able to escape. The starting price is 100,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Everyone, you may start bidding. The old man in the Taoist robe took out an array diagram that was flowing with multiplying array patterns and seemed to contain clouds and mist within it. Unexpectedly, the old ancestor really took out this ancient sky shrouding diagram to auction. This was too much. Looking at the ancient sky shrouding diagram in the Taoist-robed old man's hand, the eyes of Di Feiyang, Di Linga, and the others lit up. On the other hand, the graceful and beautiful woman and the numerous rebirth realm experts from the Qilin Divine Kingdom revealed dense interest as well, and they bid successively. Soon, the price of the ancient sky shrouding diagram soared and reached 210,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Damn it! Although Di Feiyang was the emperor of the Nine Heavens divine nation, the amount of heaven crystals he could use was limited. Even if he added in mid-grade heaven crystals, he could not take out more low-grade heaven crystals. He had no choice but to withdraw from the competition. 300,000 low-grade heaven crystals. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng opened his mouth to bid. The moment he opened his mouth, everyone was shocked and numb. Little brother, if you are willing to give this ancient sky shrouding diagram to me, I will ensure that you can leave the Nine Heavens divine nation safely. A beautiful woman with a voluptuous figure, wearing a tight black dress, looked at Yi Chunfeng with a bewitching gaze as she promised in a pleasant voice. Not interested. Yi Chunfeng did not even think and rejected her without hesitation. 300,000 low-grade heaven crystals. Is there anyone who wants to increase the price? The Taoist-robed old man was also numb to Yi Chunfeng's bid. He looked at the beautiful woman whose face was gradually turning dark and asked loudly, All right, since no one is increasing the price, this ancient sky shrouding diagram will be auctioned by this friend, the Taoist-robed old man announced. Yi Chunfeng got another treasure as he wished. Is everyone looking forward to the last item of the auction? After completing the transaction with Yi Chunfeng, the Taoist-robed old man revealed a faint smile and said, The last item of this auction does not come from our Nine Heavens divine nation. It was entrusted to us by a senior. Because the item that senior entrusted to sell was too precious, after discussion, it was decided to be the last item of this auction. However, that senior said that he only needed mid-grade heaven crystals. Therefore, the last item can only be auctioned with mid-grade heaven crystals. What kind of treasure would this last item be? Yi Chunfeng also had a trace of curiosity about this last item. Silence, he waited for the last item to appear. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1472. Alright, let's not waste any more time. The last item of this auction is the innate sword embryo. As he spoke, the old man took out a half-meter-long black iron box from his universe ring. It was sealed with a powerful seal. Watermark advertisement test. When he opened the iron box, a terrifying sword intent spread out from the iron box. Many people who were not strong enough felt as if a sword was hanging on their neck. Innate sword embryo. Yi Chunfeng was shocked. He did not expect that this auction would not only have a branch of the divine wood of time, but also an innate sword embryo. Innate sword embryo, it's actually an innate sword embryo. If I can get it, I can refine it into my natal treasure and greatly increase my strength. Di Feiyang was also determined to get the innate sword embryo. Alright, there is no starting price for the innate sword embryo. Everyone can start bidding now. The old man announced. 100 mid-grade heaven crystals. Middle-grade heaven crystals were much more precious than low-grade heaven crystals. In the entire central world, not many people were willing to take out mid-grade heaven crystals to trade. However, the innate sword embryo was even more extraordinary. Jian Tianzi, who had the innate sword body, made a bid. I didn't expect Jian Tianzi to be so rich. Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile. He was not in a hurry to make a bid. 110 mid-grade heaven crystals. The beautiful woman of unknown origin made a bid. 200 mid-grade heaven crystals. Di Feiyang glanced at Yi Chunfeng from the corner of his eyes and made the highest bid he could offer. 200 mid-grade heaven crystals, and there are still people who will continue to raise the price. The old man in the Taoist robe exchanged glances with Di Feiyang. 300 mid-grade heaven crystals. Seeing the change in the old man's eyes, Yi Chunfeng did not wait any longer and increased the bid. Crack! Hearing Yi Chunfeng's bid, Di Feiyang directly crushed his teacup. The killing intent in his eyes shot out without reservation. Thinking of the innate sword embryo's preciousness, Di Feiyang suddenly stood up and said, I wonder which senior put this innate sword embryo up for auction. I am Di Feiyang and I like this innate sword embryo very much. I wonder if the senior who put it up for auction can make a private deal with me? I guarantee that the senior will be satisfied. What? You want to break the auction's rules? When Yi Chunfeng saw Di Feiyang standing up, he took a sip of his tea and said indifferently, Don't worry. Leave some leeway when you do things. I advise you to think clearly about your situation. Even if I let you win this innate sword embryo, do you think that with your strength, you can leave here alive? Di Feiyang looked at Yi Chunfeng with sharp eyes and said, however, if you are willing to give the innate sword embryo to me, I can make the decision to protect your life and let you leave safely. You don't have to worry about whether I can leave this place alive. As for this innate sword embryo, I will definitely obtain it. Yi Chunfeng ignored the warning in Di Feiyang's eyes and said without backing down, You're good. Di Feiyang was so angry that he laughed and said, Today I'm going to say this, if you dare to lay your hands on this innate sword embryo, I will definitely make your blood splatter on the spot. Who would have thought that the Emperor of the Nine Heavens' divine country would be such an unreasonable and domineering person? How disappointing, Yi Chunfeng said coldly. How dare you insult the Emperor of the Nine Heavens' divine country? I think you are tired of living. A Nirvana powerhouse of the Nine Heavens' divine country stood up and released a powerful aura to lock onto Yi Chunfeng and shouted fiercely, What, do you want to fight? Yi Chunfeng ignored the threat of this Nirvana powerhouse and replied domineeringly, Emperor, if I am willing to make a private deal with you, I wonder what you can give me? Just when the atmosphere was tense and a fight was about to break out, a skinny old man wearing a linen robe with a crescent moon scar on his forehead slowly stood up and looked at Di Feiyang. Are you the senior who sold the innate sword embryo? Di Feiyang glanced at the linen-robed old man and asked. That's right, this innate Tao body was entrusted by me to your Nine Heavens imperial family. However, If Emperor can take out a treasure that can move me, maybe I can change my mind and make a private deal with you. The linen-robed old man wanted to get more precious treasures from Di Feiyang and said, "What does this senior want?" Di Feiyang was secretly happy and asked generously, "I want something that can increase the limit of the Nirvana heavenly realm. Do you have it?" The linen-robed old man asked. "I don't have it now, but I can go to the National Treasury and get it for you." Di Feiyang hesitated and said, "Senior, I have a nameless elixir that can increase your limit of the Nirvana heavenly realm." Yi Chunfeng took out the incomplete heavenly saint breaking elixir and said, "Really?" The linen-robed old man looked at the plain heavenly saint breaking elixir in Yi Chunfeng's hand and said suspiciously, "I know that no matter what I say, you won't believe me." Yi Chunfeng said, "How about this? I can let you take this elixir first and let you evaluate its value. Then you can decide who you want to trade the innate sword embryo to." The linen-robed old man's eyes lit up and showed a rare smile. "Believe?" Yi Chunfeng said decisively. "Okay, since you trust one so much, then let I appraise the elixir in your hand. If this elixir can really increase I's strength, I will give you the innate sword embryo." The linen-robed old man looked at Yi Chunfeng and said, "It's a deal." With that, Yi Chunfeng flicked his finger and threw the incomplete heavenly saint breaking elixir to the linen-robed old man. After receiving the heavenly saint breaking elixir, the linen-robed old man appraised it repeatedly. After confirming that there was no problem, he swallowed it and circulated a powerful cultivation technique to refine the energy released by the heavenly saint breaking elixir. This elixir, after about 10 breaths, the linen-robed old man suddenly opened his closed eyes. His turbid old eyes revealed a strong sense of surprise. "How is it, senior? I didn't lie to you, right?" Yi Chunfeng said with a faint smile. "What kind of elixir is this?" The linen-robed old man couldn't believe that the bottleneck of his cultivation realm had loosened after he had just consumed the heavenly saint breaking elixir. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said, "I don't know." "Okay, I will fulfill my promise. This innate sword embryo is yours." With that, the linen-robed old man waved his wrinkled hand and released a powerful Tao energy that penetrated the restrictions around the auction stage. He directly grabbed the innate sword embryo and gave it to Yi Chunfeng. "Thank you, senior." Yi Chunfeng quickly sealed the innate sword embryo and said with a faint smile, "Junior, do you need me to bring you out of here?" The linen-robed old man also knew that Yi Chunfeng wouldn't have a good ending today, so he asked intentionally. "No need, I can deal with the trouble myself." Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said confidently, "Okay, then I won't accompany you." With that, the linen-robed old man's body suddenly shot out a strong light in the shape of a crescent moon. It cut open the restrictions around the door, and he left alone in front of everyone. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1473. Yanwei. So he was Yanwei, one of the top 10 wandering cultivators in the Central World. Suddenly, someone recognized the identity of the linen-robed old man and exclaimed in surprise. "ET watermark advertising test of watermark advertisement now. Can you give me the innate sword embryo?" After Yanwei left, Di Feiyang, whose face was as dark as water, locked his gaze on Yi Chunfeng and said coldly, "This innate sword embryo is mine. Why should I give it to you?" Yi Chunfeng's lips curled up slightly. Looking at Di Feiyang, who was filled with killing intent, he asked coldly, "Don't tell me you want to snatch it by force? Do you still not understand your situation?" Di Feiyang shot a look at the Taoist-robed elder and ordered him to increase the restrictions in the auction hall, completely sealing off Yi Chunfeng's escape route. "I feel that my situation is very good right now," Yi Chunfeng replied indifferently. "No need to waste words with him. Before Di Feiyang made a move, Jian Tianzi, who possessed the innate sword body and was extremely aggressive, suddenly took out the divine glory sword. Amidst the chaos in the auction hall, she stabbed her sword towards Yi Chunfeng's throat. Boom! The 3-foot-long sword light pierced over. Yi Chunfeng didn't dodge. He gently extended a finger and accurately tapped on the white sword light, shattering it and easily breaking Jian Tianzi's attack. What? Seeing Yi Chunfeng break Jian Tianzi's attack with a single finger, everyone present was stunned and let out cries of disbelief. Even Di Feiyang and Di Linga revealed serious expressions. They didn't think that Yi Chunfeng's strength would be so terrifying. Buzz! Buzz! Ear-piercing sword sounds rang out from Jian Tianzi's body. She deduced her sword intent to the extreme and used the chilling killing Dao to attack Yi Chunfeng at close range. She wanted to use a series of fierce killing auras to severely injure Yi Chunfeng. You too weak. Yi Chunfeng's eyes narrowed, and he charged toward the myriad of sword gleams like a hurricane. Relying on his absolute strength, he shattered the sword gleams that got close to him and appeared before Jian Tianzi, whose expression changed slightly. She had sensed a strong aura of danger and instinctively dodged. He reached out to grab her. Although Jian Tianzi's dodging speed was fast, Yi Chunfeng's right hand was even faster. In the blink of an eye, Jian Tianzi's neck was grabbed by Yi Chunfeng. Immediately after, a power that was beyond Jian Tianzi's imagination channeled into her body, suppressing all the Dao powers in her body, causing her to temporarily lose her strength. She was unable to exert any strength in her entire body. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng lifted Jian Tianzi high up into the air like a little chick. This shocking scene shocked everyone present. Who was Jian Tianzi? She was a peerless genius that was hard to come by in 10,000 years in the sword faction. She possessed the innate sword physique that others yearned for even in their dreams, and she also walked the path of killing. Her overall battle prowess could be ranked in the top 5 of the current younger generation. But now, Jian Tianzi was captured alive and couldn't move. This made many people feel like they were in a dream. Let go of Tianzi. Although Di Linga was surprised by Yi Chunfeng's battle prowess, at this moment, he had to stand out. He summoned a large low-grade holy treasure and hovered above his head. He glared at Yi Chunfeng and shouted loudly, "Don't say that I bullied you! Come at me together!" Yi Chunfeng revealed an arrogant smile and said, "I just want to experience the strength of the 2 peerless princes of the 9 heavens' divine kingdom." "Who are you, sir?" Di Feiyang looked at Yi Chunfeng with a serious gaze. He sensed something unusual, so he didn't take the initiative to attack. He said in a low voice, "Isn't it too late to ask about my identity now?" Yi Chunfeng said coldly, "Don't waste time. Do it." "Sir, today is our 9 heavens imperial family. To celebrate the return of the old divine king, we are holding an auction. Sir, don't you think you are not giving our 9 heavens imperial family any face?" The Taoist-robed elder took a deep look at Yi Chunfeng, who he couldn't see through, and said in a low voice, "What? Do you think that I was the one who provoked you first?" Yi Chunfeng asked coldly. "Sir, for the sake of our 9 heavens imperial family's old divine king, please don't continue to make trouble. Let go of Miss Jian." The Taoist-robed elder deliberately used Di Jiutian to pressure Yi Chunfeng. "I can let her go, but I have a condition," Yi Chunfeng said coldly. "Sir, please." The Taoist-robed elder asked patiently. "Let them apologize to me." Yi Chunfeng pointed at the gloomy Di Feiyang and Di Linga. "What? Sir, do you really want to fight to the death with our 9 heavens imperial family?" Di Feiyang said angrily. What kind of expert was Di Feiyang? He would definitely not apologize to Yi Chunfeng in public. "Look, I gave them a chance, but they didn't cherish it. Since it's like this, then don't blame me for not giving your 9 heavens imperial family any face," Yi Chunfeng said domineeringly. "Sigh, I am very disappointed in your choice." The Taoist-robed elder shook his head and said, "Since it's like this, then I'm sorry. As he spoke, the Taoist-robed elder activated the strongest restriction in the auction hall. A slowly moving octagonal array disc appeared. It flowed with powerful attack patterns and locked onto Yi Chunfeng. What? Aren't you afraid of using the restriction array to attack me and accidentally injure her? Yi Chunfeng said fearlessly with the corner of his mouth slightly raised. Let me go quickly, or my sword sect will not let you go. With Yi Chunfeng choking her neck, Jian Tianzi's pretty face turned red. She was in great pain and said with a hoarse voice, "Qi." As soon as Jian Tianzi's threatening words fell, a sharp sword light broke through Jian Tianzi's defense and cut her back close, revealing her white and tender jade back. Don't hurt Tianzi. As long as you are willing to let Tianzi go, I can agree to any of your conditions. Dilinga looked at Yi Chunfeng with fire shooting out of her eyes. She clenched her teeth tightly and endured the anger in her heart. Fine, today I will give you a chance to express your sincerity. If you are willing to kneel down and kowtow to me 10 times, I will let her go. Yi Chunfeng looked at Dilinga, whose eyes were twitching violently and whose heart was not calm, and said, "But if you don't agree, I will cut her clothes bit by bit. If you have the guts, kill me." Jian Tianzi glared at Yi Chunfeng and struggled with all her might. However, Yi Chunfeng's strength was much stronger than hers. No matter how hard she struggled, she could not break free from Yi Chunfeng's restraint. I will count to 3. If you don't kneel down and beg for mercy, then don't blame me for not giving you a chance. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng's fingertips shot out a sharp sword light, which swallowed and spat in front of Jian Tianzi's clothes. It could cut her clothes at any time, exposing her tall and straight twin peaks to the air. Although Dilinga liked Jian Tianzi, making him kowtow to her was worse than killing him. It made him hesitate. Sigh, this is the man who loves you deeply. Look carefully. Yi Chunfeng looked at Dilinga, who was clenching his fists and struggling with his thoughts, and said with a smile. After speaking, he did not tear apart Jian Tianzi's clothes to humiliate her. Instead, he threw her to the cold ground. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng's body surged with a soaring sword intent. The terrifying sword force swept through the air, killing mercilessly. The sword pierced the slowly moving octagonal disc array, tearing apart the powerful array patterns and piercing a big hole in the disc array. The restriction array was broken, shocking everyone present. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the bookmark at the bottom to record this reading record. The next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1474. May I know who you are? After witnessing how Yi Chunfeng broke the formation with one strike, the old man's heart skipped a beat. He looked at Yi Chunfeng in a different light. Editor. Endless fantasy translation. To be able to break the formation so easily, his attack power had definitely reached the limit of the Nirvana heavenly realm. It doesn't matter who I am. The important thing is, didn't you want to kill me and take the treasures I bought from the auction? Yi Chunfeng smiled faintly and said, I'm standing right here. If you want to fight, then come at me. The old man was shocked by Yi Chunfeng's strength, so he sent a voice transmission to Di Feiyang, who had a dark expression on his face. Emperor, this person is too strong. I'm afraid we're not his match. We should avoid him and slowly deal with him in the future. All right, I'll let him go today. Although Di Feiyang was reluctant to give up the innate sword embryo, Yi Chunfeng's strength was too strong. He smelled a strong sense of danger, so he had no choice but to back down. Let's go. Di Feiyang glared at Yi Chunfeng and was about to leave with his followers. Emperor, where are you going? Yi Chunfeng wanted to blow this matter up and force Di Jiutian into a dead end. He had no choice but to attack Di Feiyang and the others. What? You want to hurt me? With his identity as the emperor, Di Feiyang wasn't afraid that Yi Chunfeng would harm him. He looked at Yi Chunfeng coldly and said fearlessly, Di Feiyang, if it weren't for you being apprehensive of my strength, you would have already attacked me. Yi Chunfeng said coldly. That's right. Your strength is indeed extraordinary. Di Feiyang nodded and said generously. Since my fist is bigger than yours, doesn't that mean I can bully you? Yi Chunfeng's lips curled up as he spoke with a cold intent. You better think carefully about where you are right now. If you hurt me, I guarantee you won't be able to leave Nine Heaven's royal city alive, warned Di Feiyang coldly. His eyes shone with a cold light. Is that so? Yi Chunfeng sneered. His right hand suddenly entered the space and slapped towards Di Feiyang. Although Di Feiyang was an Earth Nirvana realm expert, and his attention was focused on Yi Chunfeng, Yi Chunfeng's attack speed was too fast, and his right hand had escaped into space, making it impossible for Di Feiyang to guard against it. Slap! The crisp sound of a slap rang out. Yi Chunfeng's hand, which was filled with hundreds of millions of kilograms of force, fiercely slapped Di Feiyang's face. The terrifying force broke through his defense and caved in his face, sending him flying. He drew a beautiful arc in the air and slammed into the chair behind him. The entire auction hall fell into chaos. Son of Heaven! The Taoist-robed elder and the others were dumbfounded. They didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to be so bold as to attack Di Feiyang in front of everyone. Lu Mang was even more frightened by the scene in front of him. His mind went blank and his entire body trembled. I'll kill you! Di Feiyang had never suffered such humiliation. He ignored the injuries on his face and climbed up from the collapsed chair like an angry leopard. He summoned an extremely powerful mid-grade sage artifact that was shaped like a crescent moon and flashed with lightning. He attacked Yi Chunfeng. The moment Di Feiyang attacked, the angry Di Linga and the furious Jian Tianzi also attacked Yi Chunfeng at this time. They wanted to work together to severely injure him and capture him alive. Gotcha! Di Feiyang and the other two attacked together. Yi Chunfeng didn't panic in the face of danger. He took a light step forward, and an unimaginable force formed under his feet, cracking the ground. Then, the space in front of him and Jiao Yuyan had a large area of wrinkles. The layers of space constantly dissolved the attacks of Di Feiyang and the other two. Thunder Moon Shadow, destroy! Di Feiyang was infuriated. He continued to inject powerful Tao energy into the mid-grade sacred artifact, increasing the power of the Thunder Moon afterimage, shattering the layers of space as it charged towards Yi Chunfeng. You're too weak. When the Thunder Moon afterimage approached Yi Chunfeng like a hot knife through butter, a spiritual grade Tao diagram of the heavens and earth appeared in Yi Chunfeng's palm. He struck the Thunder Moon afterimage with his palm, and the terrifying power of Tao will and hundreds of millions of kilograms of strength directly blasted the Thunder Moon afterimage back. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng's body flashed. With a speed that was hard to see with the naked eye, he appeared in front of the shocked Di Linga and Jian Tianzi and stepped out twice. The 2 steps caused the entire space to shake. The terrifying tyrannical feat seemed to suppress the 9 hells. With the power of hundreds of millions of kilograms, they shattered the attacks of the 2 and were sent flying. A large amount of blood spurted out of their mouth. Then, Yi Chunfeng turned into an afterimage and appeared in front of Di Feiyang, who had turned pale with fright and attacked him. Don't hurt the Emperor! Seeing that Di Linga was in danger, the old man in the Tao robe activated his powerful bloodline power and punched out at Yi Chunfeng like a meteor falling to the ground. It evolved into Tao patterns and attacked Yi Chunfeng. You won't be able to save him. Yi Chunfeng snorted coldly as he threw out a powerful punch to meet the attack. When Yi Chunfeng and the old man's fists collided, a surge of Tao energy beyond the old man's imagination burst out from Yi Chunfeng's fist and poured into his body. He was sent flying dozens of meters away and crashed into the coiled dragon stone pillar in the distance. He fell to the ground in pain and almost lost the ability to continue fighting. What powerful strength! Elder Ming, can you see how powerful this person is? There was no lack of Nirvana Heavenly Realm Almighties who had come to participate in the auction. However, when they saw Yi Chunfeng's battle prowess, they were all stunned. An ordinary-looking lady softly asked the white-haired old man beside her. "This person is very powerful. I'm afraid he's at the limit of the Nirvana Heavenly Realm." The white-haired old man said in a serious tone. "When did such a young expert appear in our central world?" The woman sucked in a breath of cold air and said, "This person is definitely in disguise. I just don't know what kind of deep enmity this person has with the Nine Heavens divine nation. He actually humiliated the Nine Heavens imperial families, Son of Heaven, in public." The white-haired old man said, "Thunder Moon Shadow, Endless Lightning Light." Although Yi Chunfeng's strength was beyond Di Feiyang's imagination, he didn't retreat. He clenched his teeth and controlled the mid-grade sacred treasure to release a large amount of lightning light, bombarding Yi Chunfeng's body. However, Yi Chunfeng was no longer the same as before. Not to mention Nirvana's Di Feiyang, even a Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert could be killed by Yi Chunfeng with a wave of his hand. Slap, slap, slap. Yi Chunfeng's body moved. Like an unparalleled divine sword, he tore apart the endless lightning light of the Thunder Moon Shadow and appeared in front of Di Feiyang. He raised his hand and continuously slapped Di Feiyang. Di Feiyang's head cracked and blood flowed out of his 7 orifices. He was in great pain. "Stop!" Just as Yi Chunfeng was deliberately humiliating Di Feiyang, an angry roar rang out. A mighty man wearing golden armor and holding a 9-foot 9-inch long dark golden spear appeared. His strength had reached the limit of the Nirvana Heavenly Realm. He stabbed his spear at Yi Chunfeng. The spear stabbed out like a dragon emerging from the sea, tearing through space. The sound of the friction between the spear and the air made many people's eardrums hurt. It was extremely uncomfortable. Seeing that the golden-armored man's spear was about to pierce Yi Chunfeng's body, Yi Chunfeng quickly pointed his finger at the tip of the dark golden spear. Press and hold for 3 seconds to copy. Chapter 1475. How dare you? Who are you? Why are you causing trouble in my Nine Heavens imperial city? The golden-armored man's expression changed slightly as he quickly retrieved the spear that Yi Chunfeng had bent. "Net, if I say that I'm here for the return of Qingzi Divine Emperor, would you believe me?" Yi Chunfeng looked at the golden-armored man with a smile that was not a smile and said coldly, "War God Huang, this person is lawless and has done all kinds of evil. I beg War God Huang to capture him and throw him into the death prison." Di Feiyang crawled up from the ground with his face sunken in and blood flowing out of his mouth. He glared at Yi Chunfeng, who had brought him great humiliation, and roared loudly. "You better not count on him. If he could capture me, he wouldn't be talking nonsense with me." Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile and looked at the gloomy war god Huang. "Did I say anything wrong? Although you are strong, are you stronger than my Nine Heavens imperial city?" War god Huang took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. "I advise you to be smart. If you continue to cause trouble, it will only be bad for you." "All right, I won't argue with you. Let's go." Yi Chunfeng looked at Di Feiyang, whose face had sunken in and whose eyes were spitting fire. He brought Jiao Yuyan and was about to leave the auction hall. "War god Huang, you can't let them go." Seeing Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan leaving, Di Feiyang angrily ordered. If he let Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan leave like this, he would definitely become a laughingstock. He would have no fate with the Xiantian realm. "See, it's not that I want to continue causing trouble, it's just that some people who don't know what's good for them insist on pestering me." Yi Chunfeng revealed a cold smile and said, "All right, my patience is limited. If you want to make a move, then hurry up. Don't waste my time." "All right, then let me have a taste of your skills." After receiving Di Feiyang's message, War God Huang took a deep breath. A powerful battle armor was released from his body and locked onto Yi Chunfeng. 3 moves. If I can't beat you down in 3 moves, it'll be my loss. Yi Chunfeng looked at the war god of Nirvana realm and pointed a finger at him. Emperor Dragon's heavenly spear. The yellow war god's expression changed. The Tao will in his body exploded as he began to deduce. As he thrust out his spear, his entire body fused with the dark golden spear in his hand and transformed into a mysterious innate Tao pattern. It was like a yellow dragon that pierced through the sky and pierced towards Yi Chunfeng's chest. Pearls of death fuse. Huang Zhanshan thrust his spear forward. Yi Chunfeng didn't dodge. He quickly took a step forward and fused with the spiritual pearl of death in his Yongquan acupoint. He punched out with his fist. Pung pung pung. Although Yi Chunfeng didn't use his sacred weapon, his physical body was too strong. With a single punch, layers upon layers of space were crushed. The fist filled with explosive power collided with the yellow dragon heavenly spear that the yellow war god had thrust out. The explosive power continued to shatter the yellow dragon-like fist light, and the fist smashed into the dark golden spear. The terrifying power passed through the dark golden spear and surged into war god Huang's arm. The impact caused his skin and flesh to split open and blood to spurt out. Just as war god Huang was shocked by Yi Chunfeng's terrifying combat strength, a light flashed under Yi Chunfeng's feet. He suddenly appeared in front of war god Huang and punched at his chest. The punch shattered his golden battle armor and caved in his chest, sending him flying. "Sai, you can't even take 2 moves from me. You are much weaker than I thought." Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said with disdain as he looked at war god Huang, who was sent flying dozens of meters away and smashed a huge hole in the stone wall. "Damn it, how can he be so strong?" Seeing that one of the 4 war gods of the 9 heavens imperial family, war god Huang, was no match for Yi Chunfeng, Di Feiyang's heart sank. Beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. "Next, it's your turn again." Yi Chunfeng's deep eyes shone with a cold light as he locked onto Di Feiyang, whose forehead was drenched in cold sweat. Then, he walked over with heavy step. "That senior is willing to help us. Our 9 heavens imperial family will definitely owe him a favor." Seeing Yi Chunfeng getting closer, Di Feiyang felt like he was being stared at by an ancient beast. Even breathing became difficult as he shouted at the top of his lungs. "Whoever dares to make a move will be killed without mercy." The terrifying aura in Yi Chunfeng's body completely exploded. The terrifying aura caused the space to change, causing the entire auction hall to tremble. Feeling the terrifying aura released by Yi Chunfeng, many Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts who wanted to make a move were shaken. As for Di Feiyang, who was enduring the strongest aura, his hair stood on end as his entire body trembled. "Kneel!" Yi Chunfeng looked at Di Feiyang, who was sweating profusely, and ordered without any room for resistance. You really want to fight to the death with our 9 heavens imperial family?" Di Feiyang said as he glared at Yi Chunfeng with bloodshot eyes as he endured the pressure of Mount Tai bearing down on him. "You can't represent the 9 heavens imperial family," Yi Chunfeng said coldly. "Roar, roar, roar!" Just as Yi Chunfeng wanted to force Di Feiyang to kneel, a deafening dragon roar suddenly resounded. "Sacred beast, it's our 9 heavens imperial family's sacred beast, the Sky Dragon." Hearing the dragon roar, Di Feiyang was overjoyed. He shouted at the top of his lungs, "Sacred beasts, save me!" Rumble. The incomparably tough roof made of special materials suddenly trembled. A tall and sturdy man wearing white battle armor with a pair of dragon horns on his head and thick dragon scales on his arms and legs descended from the sky. He was holding a dragon head blade that was close to 6 meters long. He appeared in the chaotic auction hall. "All right, today's auction is over. Everyone can leave now." When the 9 heavens divine nation's sacred beast appeared, the Taoist-robed elder immediately opened the door and shouted. When the auction hall's door opened, many almighty experts didn't dare to stay any longer and quickly left. Soon, there were only a few dozen people left in the auction hall. The others all fled the auction hall in a panic. Mid-grade sacred beast dragon. Sensing the powerful dragon aura from the silver-armored man, the God-Eater brain confirmed that the man in front of it was a mid-grade sacred beast and a top-grade dragon. The Nine Heavens Divine Nation is indeed the one with the deepest foundation among the three divine nations. They actually have a true dragon. A serious expression appeared on Yi Qinfeng's face as several thoughts flashed through his mind. Although he had the ability to slay a dragon with his current strength and foundation, his real goal was to force Di Jiutian to work with him to secretly control the Nine Heavens Divine Nation. It would be disadvantageous for him to reveal his identity too early. "Are you done messing around?" the heavenly dragon asked in a deep voice as it glared at Yi Qinfeng with its bell-sized eyes. "Messing around? Do you think I'm the one messing around today?" Yi Qinfeng didn't back down. "If he didn't covet my treasures, would you target him? No matter what, you don't have to hurt them. You have to give our Nine Heavens Imperial family an explanation today," said the sacred beast Sky Dragon. "All right, if you want an explanation, I can give it to you." Yi Qinfeng held onto Jiao Yuyan's smooth arms tightly, helping her to neutralize the impact of the dragon's might. He said, "Bring us to the Nine Heavens Imperial Palace. I want to see your Nine Heavens Divine Emperor and seek justice for today's matter." "All right, let's go." The heavenly dragon took a deep look at Yi Qinfeng and nodded. He personally escorted Yi Qinfeng and Yi Qinfeng to the heavily guarded Nine Heavenly Emperor Palace, the true authority of the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom. Remember the website. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 1476. What a terrifying array formation! Under the escort of the holy beast Sky Dragon, Yi Qinfeng and Qin Wentian entered the Nine Heavens Imperial Palace that was shining with golden light. When they entered, their pupils constricted slightly, revealing looks of shock. Net with the help of the God-Eater brain, he realized that the array talisman that enveloped the Nine Heavens Imperial Palace was much more powerful than the Eight-Head Imperial Palace. Even a 6-star Dao Saint would be severely injured by this array talisman, let alone a Nirvana Heavenly Realm cultivator. Just how strong is the Nine Heavens Imperial family? Yi Qinfeng realized that the Nine Heavens Imperial family was much stronger than he had imagined. If he hadn't controlled Di Jiutian, he wouldn't have dared to make a move on the Nine Heavens Imperial family. "Damn it, I don't care who you are. I'm going to skin you alive today." Di Feiyang swore in his heart as he glared viciously at Yi Qinfeng's back, his face sunken in from the extreme humiliation. In his opinion, Yi Qinfeng's life and death were in his hands the moment he stepped into the Nine Heavens Imperial family. Di Feiyang kept thinking of ways to take revenge. "Young Master Yi, why have you come to the Nine Heavens Imperial Palace?" Under the escort of the Sky Dragon, Yi Qinfeng and Huang Xiaolong walked along a long white jade corridor towards the depths of the Nine Heavens Imperial Palace. A deep voice resounded in Yi Qinfeng's soul sea. Di Jiutian, who was sitting cross-legged in the depths of the Imperial Palace, opened his eyes and frowned. "Of course I'm being escorted here." Yi Qinfeng gave Di Jiutian a simple explanation of what had happened. "Ignorant junior." Di Jiutian sent a voice transmission in annoyance. "Young Master Yi, do you want me to kill Di Feiyang and help you vent your anger?" "If I wanted to kill him, he would have died long ago," Yi Qinfeng said coldly. "All right, calm down and wait for my news. Young Master Yi, the Nine Heavens Imperial family has no intention of becoming enemies with you. Please let them go." Although Yi Qinfeng controlled Di Jiutian's life and death, the blood of the sky race flowed in his veins. He was also the first deity king of the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom. He didn't want to see the Nine Heavens Imperial family's foundation being destroyed. "Di Jiutian, you know your situation very well," Yi Qinfeng warned him. "However, I can promise you that if you are loyal to me, I will let the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom live." "Kingdom. Live. We're here. Wait for me here." I'll report to His Majesty the Divine Emperor and see if he's willing to see you. The holy beast Heavenly Dragon led Yi Qinfeng and Xiao Qin to a resplendent and majestic hall with 108 stone pillars made of coiling dragons. Then, he ordered several guards to watch over Yi Qinfeng and Xiao Qin before entering the hall. What are you looking at? When the holy beast Heavenly Dragon entered the Golden Palace, Yi Qinfeng turned around slightly and looked at Di Feiyang, who had a ferocious glint in his eyes and a sinister smile. I don't know if you are really stupid or not. You actually want to seek justice from my father, Di Feiyang said coldly. What? You think you can control my life and death here? Yi Qinfeng said with a cold smile. You are stubborn, right? You will cry in a while. Di Feiyang was like an evil wolf as he stared at Yi Qinfeng. I promise you will regret going against me. Regret? Yi Qinfeng smiled. You don't have to worry about me, but I'm afraid you will regret it. With that, Yi Qinfeng appeared in front of Di Feiyang like a bolt of lightning. Yi Qinfeng's sudden approach made Di Feiyang's hair stand on end. Di Feiyang instinctively wanted to dodge. However, the moment he dodged, an unexpected dizziness blasted into his soul sea, causing his soul sea to tremble and his mind to go blank for a short period of time. Slap! Slap! 2 crisp slaps rang out. Yi Qinfeng raised his hand and slapped Di Feiyang twice. Di Feiyang's face, which was recovering, caved in again. Several broken teeth and a large amount of blood flowed out of his mouth and fell to the ground. The bloodstains were very eye-catching. How dare you! Don't you dare hurt the Emperor! The golden-armored guards did not expect Yi Qinfeng to be so bold as to beat up Di Feiyang in front of everyone outside the Golden Palace. They were instantly enraged. They all summoned their Dao treasures and attacked Yi Qinfeng. Ka! 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 When the powerful Dao treasures that shone with the light of the Way landed on Yi Qinfeng's body, a frightening power of the Way gushed out of his body and slammed into the steels of the Great Path. The frightening power of the Way shattered these Dao treasures. In the next moment, the everlasting holy water broke out of Yi Qinfeng's body and turned into an extremely cold air. It froze the golden-armored guards, instantly turning them into ice sculptures. Di Feiyang, do you want to become like them? After forcefully shattering the Dao treasures and freezing the powerful golden-armored guards, Yi Qinfeng looked at Di Feiyang, whose expression changed drastically. He revealed a devilish smile. I advise you not to mess around. If you hurt me, your cooking will be worse than mine. Although Di Feiyang's temperament was extraordinary, Yi Qinfeng's strength was too terrifying. He had complete control over his life and death. After witnessing Yi Qinfeng's ruthless methods, Di Feiyang felt fear from the bottom of his heart. Sigh, Di Feiyang, I thought you were someone important. However, I realized that I was wrong about you. Yi Qinfeng looked at Di Feiyang, who was bracing himself, and said, Forget it. I'll do a good deed today and change the Emperor of the 9 Heavens royalty. Buzz, buzz, buzz. As soon as Yi Qinfeng finished speaking, the space above his head suddenly distorted. A dragon seal with a coiling golden dragon and an ancient seal fell from the sky, suppressing Yi Qinfeng. High-grade sage treasure. Feeling the destructive power of the dragon, Yi Qinfeng's eyes narrowed. The power of the 5 acupoints in his body exploded. More than 150 million pounds of power poured into his right fist as he punched at the dragon seal. Buzz, buzz. Yi Qinfeng's fist light shot up into the sky, shattering the layers of pressure. When it hit the ancient seal on the dragon seal, a deafening dragon roar resounded. The ancient seal formed from innate Dao patterns turned into a dragon character, shattering Yi Qinfeng's fist light and ruthlessly bombarding Yi Qinfeng. Boom! The incomparably hard ground was shattered by the dragon character, but Yi Qinfeng and Jiao Yuyan were nowhere to be seen. What's wrong? Is this how His Majesty treats his guests? Using sword steps, Yi Qinfeng brought Jiao Yuyan to dodge the dragon seal's attack. He cast his gaze at the golden palace shrouded in ruins and said coldly, My 9 heavens divine nation is a hospitable nation. However, this emperor does not welcome arrogant people. A majestic and terrifying voice resounded in the golden palace. Your Majesty, you are wrong. Yi Chunfeng said neither arrogantly nor humbly. I have always adhered to the principle of not offending people if they don't offend me. If it wasn't for your Son of Heaven wanting to rob me of my treasures, I wouldn't have done anything to him. Moreover, I'm already giving face to your nation and the old divine emperor by not killing him. Then, do I still need to thank you? Divine Emperor Dao Ju said indifferently. In fact, His Majesty the Divine Emperor should thank me for killing him. Someone like him who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth is truly a disgrace to the Son of Heaven's identity. He might even bring endless trouble to the 9 heavens' divine kingdom. Yi Chunfeng said with his hands behind his back. Di Feiyang was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Remember the URL. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 1477. Di Feiyang felt that he was about to go crazy from anger. Nidus, the Emperor of 9 heavens' divine nation, he was the most popular person in the younger generation. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? At this moment, he wanted nothing more than to cut Yi Chunfeng into pieces, drink his blood and eat his flesh. I have already heard about today's matter, Di Daoju said in a deep voice. At first, Feiyang was in the wrong, but I know that you are deliberately humiliating Feiyang like this. Why do you say so, Your Majesty? Yi Chunfeng smiled and asked. With your strength, you only need 1 finger to kill Feiyang, but you didn't kill him and instead came here with the sacred beast. So, your purpose is definitely not simple. Di Daoju said wisely. Tell me your true purpose. Your Majesty has misunderstood me. I came here this time only to pay a visit to the old emperor. Yi Chunfeng said. Forget it, since you don't want to tell the truth. I won't force you. Di Daoju said somewhat impatiently. Right now you have 2 paths. Either you leave 9 heavens' imperial city now and never come here again, or you can stay here forever. What if I don't take these 2 paths? Yi Chunfeng said indifferently. That's not up to you. Di Daoju's voice suddenly turned cold. Countless Dao runes gathered above Yi Chunfeng's head and turned into a huge formation plate. A terrifying power disrupted the momentum of heaven and earth and locked onto Yi Chunfeng. Sigh, I really don't want to become enemies with 9 heavens' divine nation. Why is your Majesty making things difficult for me? Although the formation of 9 heavens' imperial palace was terrifying, Yi Chunfeng had his own reliance. He stood with his hands behind his back and arrogantly stood there. His deep eyes revealed incomparable confidence. Damn, you're still so arrogant when you're about to die. You'll be crying later. Seeing Yi Chunfeng locked onto by the formation, Di Feiyang revealed a sinister expression as if he had foreseen Yi Chunfeng's tragic end. Sigh, Di Feiyang, I've discovered that you are truly brainless. Even at a time like this, you still dare to provoke me. Yi Chunfeng sighed softly and said with murderous intent, Fine, I'll kill you first. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng's body moved. He entered the spatial trajectory and attacked Di Feiyang. Rumble. The instant Yi Chunfeng made his move, the terrifying talisman formation released 3 bolts of lightning. 1 bolted towards Jiao Yuyan, while the other 2 bolted towards Yi Chunfeng. They wanted to stop Yi Chunfeng from killing Di Feiyang. Just as Jiao Yuyan was about to be struck by the array formation's heavenly lightning, an ancient bronze coffin appeared above her head, blocking the array formation's heavenly lightning that was powerful enough to kill a Nirvana heavenly realm expert. Meanwhile, Yi Chunfeng summoned the mid-grade saint embracing leaf robe and wore it. He endured the bombardment of the formation's heavenly lightning and closed in on Di Feiyang, who had turned pale with fright and was desperately retreating. Buzz! When Di Feiyang summoned his saint artifact and wanted to force Yi Chunfeng back, a terrifying dizziness blasted into his soul, causing his soul to tremble. His mind went blank for a moment. In the next moment, the high-grade saint artifact, Black Dawn's sacred sword, appeared in his hand. It swallowed and spat out a long snake-like sword as it pierced towards Di Feiyang's throat. Spatial teleportation. At this critical moment, a powerful teleportation force enveloped Di Feiyang, wanting to teleport him away. If I want to kill him, no one can save him. Seeing the dizzy Di Feiyang teleporting away, Yi Chunfeng increased his attack speed once again. The silver sword spirit turned into a cold star and fused into the Black Dawn's sacred sword. The sword tore apart the terrifying teleportation force and pierced through Di Feiyang's body, piercing through his throat. Bang! The silver sword spirit released a sword intent that poured into Di Feiyang's body and head, crushing his soul that was trying to escape. His entire body was split in half by the leaking sword intent. Blood splattered out and dyed the ground red. Feiyang. The moment Di Feiyang died, Di Dao Ju flew out of the Golden Palace with a terrifying blade aura. A sky-piercing blade light slashed towards Yi Chunfeng like mercury. Facing Di Dao Ju's saber light attack, Yi Chunfeng did not dodge. He extended his palm of flesh and blood to meet the attack head-on. With a single palm strike, he broke the saber light, breaking Di Dao Ju's attack. How dare you kill my son? Di Feiyang was Di Dao Ju's favorite son. He was also the one that Di Dao Ju focused on grooming. He was the heir to the Jiutian divine nation. But now all his hopes were shattered. His beloved son had died in front of him. This made Di Dao Ju feel like he had lost control of his emotions. Sigh, young Master Lu, you are forcing me to my death. At the same time, Di Jiutian, who had been secretly observing Yi Chunfeng's every move in the cave, sighed helplessly. Yi Chunfeng killed Di Feiyang, which was equivalent to going against the Jiutian divine nation. Di Jiutian's life was in the hands of Yi Chunfeng. He had no choice but to help Yi Chunfeng. This was equivalent to breaking off his relationship with the Jiutian sovereign family. I have no choice. I don't like the two options you gave me. I can only choose the third option, which is to kill my way out of the Jiutian imperial palace. Yi Chunfeng ignored Di Dao Ju's furious eyes and said domineeringly, Good, good, good. Today, I would like to see how you are going to kill your way out of here. Di Dao Ju, who was filled with killing intent, summoned the high-grade sacred artifact, Unparalleled Battle Saber. He released his soaring blade intent and locked onto Yi Chunfeng. The battle was about to start. Roar! At this moment, inhuman roars came from the ancient bronze coffin. The terrifying sound shook the 9 heavens. Kacha! The heavy coffin lid was pushed open by a big black hand. Emoba, who was wearing bronze battle armor and surrounded by demonic aura, slowly sat up. He opened his blood-red eyes and looked at Di Dao Ju. Just a glance was enough to make Di Dao Ju feel like he was seen through by Emoba. All the hair on his body stood up. The heavenly dragon beside Di Dao Ju was even more horrified. While Di Dao Ju was deeply attracted by Emoba, Yi Chunfeng took sword steps and flew towards Di Dao Ju, launching a fierce attack at him. Buzz! With a thrust of the sword, a terrifying warship cut through the space and pierced towards Di Dao Ju with the momentum of 1,000 caddies, forcing him to counterattack in an instant. As the saber and sword clashed, the saber intent and sword intent exploded in an instant. The two terrifying intents fused together and fiercely repulsed each other. Di Dao Ju had tempered the saber Dao his entire life, and had a very deep understanding of the saber Dao. Could be said that Di Dao Ju could be considered the #1 saber Dao expert in the Central World. Sensing that the saber Dao that Di Dao Ju displayed had completely suppressed his comprehension of the sword Dao, Yi Chunfeng revealed a trace of surprise. The silver sword spirit flew out at this moment, piercing through the two great Dao intents that were fiercely opposing each other and attacking Di Dao Ju, forcibly forcing him to retreat. Silver sword spirit, you are that Yi Chunfeng. In the entire Central World, only Yi Chunfeng had cultivated his sword spirit to the silver realm. Di Daoju immediately confirmed Yi Chunfeng's identity, and a huge wave of emotions surged in his heart. He didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to be so daring. He had just caused a bloodbath in the Orochi royal palace and was fighting to the death with the Orochi royal family. Now, he was challenging him and the Nine Heavens royal family. That's right, it's me. Yi Chunfeng knew that it was only a matter of time before Di Daoju saw through his identity. He openly admitted it and continued to attack with the blackly sacred sword in his hand. Yi Chunfeng, I have to admit that you are extraordinarily daring. However, I will also let you know that the foundation of the Nine Heavens royal family isn't something the Orochi royal family can compare to. This place is destined to be your grave. Di Daoju said angrily. He took out his communication pearl and sent a voice transmission to Di Jiutian, who had just returned, asking for help. In his opinion, with Di Jiutian's strength of a one-star heavenly venerable, as long as he appeared, Yi Chunfeng was destined to end in tragedy even if he was extremely capable. Remember the website. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 1478. Cosmos Sword Formation. When Di Daoju sent a message to Di Jiutian for help, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Cosmos Sword Formation, forming a powerful sword tornado that swept towards Di Daoju. 8th High School? Literature Net? 1. X8? 1. Z? X9. Although Di Daoju was strong and had reached the limit of the Nirvana heavenly realm, compared to Yi Chunfeng, who was a 5-star Dao saint, there was still an insurmountable gap in strength. Facing the powerful attack of the Cosmos Sword Formation, which was close to the level of a supreme sacred treasure, Di Daoju didn't dare to take it head-on. He used his inherited movement technique to dodge with all his might. But the moment he dodged, a terrifying dizziness force blasted into his sea of soul like a heavy hammer, causing his soul to tremble and his entire body to go blank for a moment. But Di Daoju was extremely experienced in battle. The moment his soul was attacked, he controlled the restriction power to descend and restrict the space around his body, resisting the attack of the Cosmos Sword Formation. When the sharp sword tornado shattered the restriction space, Di Daoju, who had regained consciousness, summoned the upper-grade sacred treasure Golden Dragon Seal. With a glaring golden light, he forcefully attacked the sword tornado and resisted the attack. Restriction plate, destroy all things. Seeing how terrifying Yi Chunfeng was, Di Daoju didn't dare to face him alone. He kept increasing the power of the formation restriction and condensed several restriction plates. He released a powerful restriction power and attacked Yi Chunfeng. He wanted to use the power of the formation to kill Yi Chunfeng. Roar! Roar! Emo Kui roared and smashed the ancient bronze coffin with all his might. It collided with the restriction plate, and the terrifying power directly shattered the restriction plate. At the same time, it controlled the monstrous devil Qi and forced the heavenly dragon to retreat. Yuyan, come back! With a thought, Yi Chunfeng sent Jiao Yuyan, who was in danger, back into the cosmos realm. He then attacked Di Daoju with the blackly sacred sword. If Yi Chunfeng didn't intend to spare Di Daoju's life, with his strength and foundation, killing Di Daoju would be as easy as blowing off dust. What's wrong with the primogenitor? Why hasn't he appeared after receiving my request for help? Di Daoju couldn't withstand Yi Chunfeng's ferocious attacks at all. The more he fought, the more frightened he became. He kept sending messages to Di Jiutian. But Yi Chunfeng didn't say anything. Di Jiutian, who was forced into a dead end, didn't dare to show himself, and he was having an intense battle in his mind. However, when he thought of Yi Chunfeng's strength and methods, Di Jiutian felt despair. He knew that if the Nine Heavens divine country continued to go against Yi Chunfeng, it would be no different from courting death. Not to mention the Nine Heavens divine country, even the celestial race couldn't afford to offend Yi Wuji. Bang! Yi Chunfeng was filled with 300 million gene of power, shattering the blade force of Di Dao Ju, and fiercely smashed into his chest, sending him flying with a punch. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. Shen Huang. Hearing the commotion, the experts of the Nine Heavens Divine Country, who had already rushed over, saw Di Dao Ju being sent flying by Yi Chenfeng, and they quickly surrounded him. But because the powerful restrictions were restrained by Mo Ba, they couldn't threaten Yi Chenfeng, so the experts of the Nine Heavens Divine Country didn't dare to rashly attack Yi Chenfeng. Yi Chenfeng, have you caused enough trouble? Di Dao Ju was injured, and an angry roar rang out. Di Dao Ju's father, the Nine Heavens Divine Country's old god emperor, Tianyang, appeared with the top-grade saint treasure, Empyrean God Cauldron. Beside Di Tianyang, there was an old man wearing a dark gray robe. His back was slightly hunched, and his face was filled with wrinkles. Although this old man looked old, Yi Chenfeng's pupils shrank into the most dangerous pinholes when he saw him. Through the God-Eater brain, Yi Chenfeng discovered that this gray-robed old man was an ancient supreme being of the celestial race who hadn't died yet. His strength had probably reached the limit of a 6-star Dao Saint, and he posed a certain threat to Yi Chenfeng. I didn't think that the Nine Heavens Imperial family would be so unreasonable. Since that's the case, don't blame me for turning this place upside down. Yi Chenfeng cast his gaze towards the old god emperor of the Nine Heavens Divine Country, Tianyang, and a strong killing intent rose in his heart. If he could kill him, then he would have sealed off Di Jotian's path of retreat. 5-star Dao Saint. I didn't think that I would meet a young 5-star Dao Saint in this lower realm. It seems like you have many secrets on you. The gray-robed old man revealed a sinister smile. His hunched body slightly moved, and as if he had instantly crossed 1,000 meters, he appeared in front of Yi Chenfeng. He stretched out his skinny right hand and grabbed at Yi Chenfeng. You're old, and this world doesn't belong to you. Let me send you to where you belong. Yi Chenfeng didn't panic in the face of the gray-robed old man's attack. He quickly merged the heaven-suppressing orb and the Saint Blood Pearl, raising his strength to that of a 6-star Dao Saint, and controlled the Cosmos Sword formation to meet the attack. Slash. Under the control of Yi Chenfeng's mind, the Cosmos Sword formation combined and turned into an invincible divine sword. It split the void like a giant axe and slashed towards the gray-robed elder. It broke the gray-robed elder's attack with one slash. You do have some tricks up your sleeve. Sensing that Yi Chenfeng's strength had increased by a level, and that the Cosmos Sword formation was extraordinarily powerful, the gray-robed old man was surprised. He quickly formed a seal with both hands, forming an extremely powerful handprint to block the attack of the Cosmos Sword. Following that, the gray-robed old man's body left afterimages. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared in front of Yi Chenfeng and appeared behind Yi Chenfeng strangely. He held a high-grade sacred tier longsword in his hand and stabbed at Yi Chenfeng's back. TSK. Yi Chenfeng's back was easily pierced by the longsword. However, the gray-robed old man's expression changed at that moment. He realized that he hadn't stabbed Yi Chenfeng's body, but the afterimage that he had created. Using his sword steps, Yi Chenfeng dodged the gray-robed elder's attack with a 10-fold increase in speed. Yi Chenfeng controlled the silver sword soul to merge into the Black Dawn's sacred sword and counterattacked ferociously at the gray-robed elder. They fought in midair. Because the two's attack speed was too fast, it was too much for the eyes to take in. Dozens of afterimages of the two appeared in midair like streams of light. They clashed intensely in midair, and turned into ripples of energy before disappearing in midair. Yi Chenfeng had a lot of attacking method. He was constantly using the stun art to bombard the gray-robed old man's soul spirit and restrict his attacks. However, the gray-robed old man was a 6-star heavenly saint after all. He had a deep foundation. While he was restraining the stun art, he was able to resolve Yi Chenfeng's attacks with ease. He was using his absolute strength to take on Yi Chenfeng's attacks. Old Deity Emperor, My nine heavens sovereign family is in huge trouble. Please show yourself and resolve the crisis for my nine heavens divine nation. Di Dao Ju saw that Yi Chunfeng wasn't at a disadvantage even after taking on the gray-robed old man. The restriction that enveloped the imperial city was constantly being torn apart by Mo Ba. Di Dao Ju felt a trace of uneasiness in his heart. He held the communication pearl in his hand and repeatedly sent a message to Di Jiutian. However, no matter how much he asked for help, Di Jiutian didn't respond. This made him more and more anxious. He couldn't figure out what was going on with Di Jiutian. Boom! Just as Di Dao Ju's heart was in a mess, Yi Chunfeng and the gray-robed old man clashed intensely. The terrifying power instantly collapsed the space, causing the entire Nine Heavens Imperial Palace to tremble. Chapter 1479. Pooh! Yi Chunfeng's body trembled as he faced the gray-clothed old man's powerful attack head-on, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Injured, he's finally injured. Di Dao Ju revealed a savage expression when he saw Yi Chunfeng being injured by the gray-clothed old man. But when he shot his gaze towards Mo Ba, his face turned gloomy once again. Under Mo Ba's ferocious attacks, the formation discs shattered one after another, and the mid-grade Saint Beast, Sky Dragon, was blasted flying by Mo Ba time and time again. The scales on its body were constantly damaged, and a large amount of blood flowed out. Father, leave this to me. Go take a look at the first ancestor's abode, and see what's wrong with the first ancestor, and why he hasn't appeared yet. Mo Kuei's strength was beyond imagination, and only Di Jiutian or the two slumbering Empyreans could destroy him. All right. Di Tianyang nodded as he stepped on a light and flew towards Di Jiutian's abode at an extremely fast speed. At this moment, the gray-clothed old man mobilized the terrifying grand force of heaven and earth and launched 3 fatal attacks at Yi Chunfeng, wanting to kill him in one go. Facing the grand force of heaven and earth that had transformed into a tide that was like a long dragon, Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and deduced the 3 spirit-grade Dao diagrams to the limit. They transformed into a boundless sea of Dao insight before him and collided with the grand force of heaven and earth, causing boundless enormous waves to surge. After a single strike, the gray-clothed old man's entire body completely merged with the grand force of heaven and earth, amplifying the might of the grand force of heaven and earth as he continued to bombard the sea of Dao insight that Yi Chunfeng had formed. The terrifying force forcefully tore numerous cracks in the sea of Dao insight. Ancient Underworld Song. Seeing the sea of Dao insight that Yi Chunfeng had formed being torn apart by the grand force of heaven and earth that the gray-clothed old man had transformed into, the God-Eater brain rapidly deduced and evolved the ancient underworld song to bombard the grand force of heaven and earth and weaken its might. Grand force of heaven slashing rivers and mountains. After the 2 successive attacks were neutralized by Yi Chunfeng, the gray-clothed old man's figure flashed as he transformed his body into a saber. He mobilized the terrifying grand force of heaven and earth to fuse together and transformed into an invincible saint saber that slashed through the void, breaking through the ancient underworld song and the sea of Dao insight that Yi Chunfeng had formed, and slashed towards Ye's head. Buzz! An ear-piercing sword cry resounded. At the critical moment, the silver sword spirit flew out of Yi Chunfeng's sea of soul. Like a flowing silver river, it collided with the sky power saint blade that the gray-robed old man had transformed into, forcefully breaking the gray-robed old man's 3rd attack. The power of a silver sword spirit is indeed terrifying. The old man's eyes narrowed and his face sank. A snake-like staff that was a supreme quality saint artifact appeared in his hand. He attacked Yi Chunfeng with it. Divine ability, mirror image. The gray-robed elder approached with the long snake staff. Yi Chunfeng immediately split his mirror image and attacked the gray-robed elder with the dragon spine sacred sword. What kind of ability is this? The gray-robed elder discovered that Yi Chunfeng's split mirror image had actually reached the level of a 5-star Dao Saint. A look of shock appeared on his face once more as he rapidly circulated the green heaven art, increasing the speed of his attacks and neutralizing the dual attacks of Yi Chunfeng and his mirror image. Primordial blood burn. The gray-robed elder was a 6-star heavenly saint after all. His foundation was extraordinary, and his attack techniques were endless. After an intense battle, Yi Chunfeng and his mirror image were unable to suppress his attacks even when they worked together. Yi Chunfeng did not waste any more time and burned his primordial blood to increase his strength further. As the primordial blood burned, Yi Chunfeng's strength instantly reached the limit of a 6-star Dao Saint. His physical strength reached 900 million pounds, and he also possessed the most terrifying and boundless Dao power. The game can end now. Let me send you to hell. Yi Chunfeng's mind moved as he summoned the supreme quality saint artifact, the 9-dragon jade annulus. He continuously injected boundless Dao power into the 9-dragon jade annulus, cutting off the void and activating the 9-dragon jade annulus' strongest attack. It formed 8 deadly dragons that roared as they attacked the gray-robed elder. Heavenly Serpent. Seeing the 8 deadly dragons that evolved the momentum of heaven and earth attacking him, the gray-robed elder immediately injected powerful Dao power into the snake staff. He controlled the snake staff to turn into a heavenly serpent that circled in front of him. It swallowed and spat out boundless Dao power to resist the attacks of the 8 deadly dragons. The 2 attacks collided fiercely in the void. When the space was torn apart, the mirror image did not care about the damage to its body and suddenly closed in on the gray-robed elder, launching a fatal attack at him. Under the attack of the mirror image, the gray-robed elder was immediately distracted. At this time, Yi Chunfeng continued to inject boundless Dao power into the 9-dragon jade annulus. He controlled the 9-dragon jade annulus to continue to form more deadly dragons. He destroyed the heavenly serpent formed by the snake staff and bombarded the gray-robed elder's body. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. Although the gray-robed elder's strength was extraordinary and had reached the peak of a 6-star heavenly saint, the 9-dragon jade annulus attack power was simply too terrifying. After continuously receiving the attacks of the deadly dragons formed by the innate patterns, his body's defense was immediately shattered. His entire body was even filled with cracks as he lost control. Divine Ancestor. Di Dao Ju saw the gray-robed elder being blasted away by the deadly dragons and his heart tightened. He hurriedly communicated with his father, Di Tianyang, and asked him to speed up and invite Di Jiutian to take charge of the situation. But at this time Di Tianyang was rejected. No matter how he asked for help, Di Jiutian ignored him. Roar! Roar! Just as the gray-robed elder could not withstand the continuous attacks of the 9-dragon jade annulus, the terrifying Mo Ba shattered all the restriction plates. He waved the ancient bronze coffin and sent the bloody heavenly dragon flying. Its huge body directly smashed a golden palace in the distance. Demon Emperor Furnace, suppress heaven and earth. Just as the gray-robed elder could not withstand the ferocious attacks of the 9-dragon jade annulus and wanted to retreat, Yi Chunfeng was multitasking. He summoned the supreme-grade sacred treasure, the Demon Emperor Furnace, awakened the purple-eyed black rhino soul, and suppressed the gray-robed elder, not giving him a chance to escape. How is this possible? With his strength, how can he continuously use supreme-grade sacred treasures to attack? As soon as the Demon Emperor Furnace appeared, heaven and earth changed color. Withstanding the suppression of the Demon Emperor Furnace, the gray-robed elder looked incredulous when he saw Yi Chunfeng controlling the 9-dragon jade annulus to continue attacking. Even a celestial master could not be like Yi Chunfeng, continuously controlling supreme-grade sacred treasures to attack without any scruples. Desolate furnace of heaven. With the gray-robed elder's seriously injured body, He could not withstand the attack of the 9-dragon jade annulus at all. He had no choice but to burn the power of his bloodline to the greatest extent and draw the power of heaven into his body. With his body as a medium, he turned into a terrifying desolate furnace and faced the 8 deadly dragons that evolved the great Tao. Boom, boom, boom. In a series of dense explosions, the gray-robed elder's desperate crash shattered the 8 deadly dragons, but he was also shaken until he was covered in blood and his body was about to collapse. It's over. Yi Chunfeng didn't give him a chance to catch his breath. The purple-eyed profound rhino's furnace appeared and controlled the furnace of the demon god to grow bigger and bigger. With the force of hundreds of millions of caddies, it ruthlessly pressed down on his body. Bam! The gray-robed elder's broken body was smashed by the demon emperor furnace and turned into a cloud of blood mist. Want to run? Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrank when he saw the gray-robed elder's soul wanting to escape. With a thought, he controlled the silver sword spirit to chase him. Before Di Dao Ju and others could rescue him, he crushed the gray-robed elder's soul with one sword. The 6-star heavenly saint who had guarded the 9 heavens royals for many years had fallen. Chapter 1480. Di Dao Ju, what else do you have to rely on? Hurry up and shout it out. Otherwise, don't blame me for destroying your 9 heavens imperial palace. After domineeringly killing a 6-star heavenly sage, Yi Chunfeng took away his belongings. Then, he turned his gaze to Di Dao Ju, whose face was ashen and whose forehead was dripping with sweat. At this moment, Di Dao Ju still felt as though he was in a dream. Until now, he still couldn't believe that Yi Chunfeng actually killed the protector of his 9 heavens imperial family, a 6-star heavenly saint. Your Majesty, the primogenitor still hasn't appeared. Should we awaken the 2 slumbering heavenly venerate primogenitors? The 9 heavens divine nation's imperial preceptor, who was wearing a dark golden dragon robe and had a long beard, transmitted a message to Di Dao Ju, who was in a state of panic. We can only do so. Di Dao Ju glared at Yi Chunfeng with hatred. He gritted his teeth and prepared to awaken the 2 slumbering heavenly venerate primogenitors in the forbidden area of the imperial palace. He wanted to kill Yi Chunfeng and avenge Di Feiyang and the 6-star heavenly saint. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Suddenly, a disturbance occurred in the distant horizon. A giant hand condensed from the power of the heavens attacked like a long dragon, covering the sky and covering the sun as it grabbed towards Yi Chunfeng. Imoba, come back! Seeing the giant hand grabbing Chunfeng, Di Dao Ju quickly called back Imoba and ordered him to attack the giant hand with the ancient bronze coffin. Silver Sword Soul Slash. While Imoba was clashing head-on with the giant hand, Yi Chunfeng controlled the silver sword spirit to soar into the sky, transforming into a 3-zhang-long galaxy sword shadow. With a single slash, he cleaved apart the giant hand that was trembling intensely. Primogenitor. The primogenitor finally made his move. Although Di Dao Ju couldn't figure out why Di Jiutian only came to help now, Di Dao Ju's heart was set at ease. Who are you people? Why did you come to the 9 heavens imperial palace to cause trouble? Di Jiutian, who was wearing a white robe and shrouded in white light, appeared. He stood on a white cloud and looked down at Yi Chunfeng, bracing himself to put on an act. It's not that I want to cause trouble, but your 9 heavens imperial family is going too far, wanting to kill me. Yi Chunfeng frowned and looked solemnly at Di Jiutian. No one could see any doubt on his face. Ancestor, don't listen to his nonsense. This person has already killed Lord Feiyang and Lord Heavenly Saint. I plead for primogenitor to take action and kill this person. Di Dao Ju glared at Yi Chunfeng as he requested loudly. Leave it to me. After saying that, Di Jiutian pressed down with his hand. A terrifying power of the heavens gushed in from all directions, transforming into a terrifying hand of the heavens. With a stifling pressure, it pressed down on Yi Chunfeng. Ao. The pressure from the heavens' hand bore down. The demon let out a ferocious roar as he rushed up with the coffin in his hand, wanting to block Di Jotian's attack head-on. Although the demon's strength was terrifying, with 3 seals in his body, he could only display the strength of a peak 6-star devil saint. He couldn't block Di Jotian's terrifying attack at all. In just over 10 breaths of time, the ancient bronze coffin that Mo Ba was waving was smashed away by the terrifying hand of heaven. Mo Ba was also ruthlessly smashed into the hard ground by the hand of heaven, creating a bottomless pit. Mighty primogenitor! Invincible primogenitor! After witnessing the scene of Di Jotian heavily injuring the demon, the experts of the 9 Heavens imperial family who were watching from afar felt relieved. They continuously cheered from afar, cheering for Di Jotian. Yi Chunfeng, wait until primogenitor captures you. I have 10,000 ways to make you suffer so much that you wish you were dead. Di Daoju's eyes flashed with a ruthless light. He didn't believe that Yi Chunfeng still had the means to turn the tide. Heavenly Dao Plate. After blasting the demon away, Di Jotian rapidly formed a seal with his hands. He channeled the terrifying power of the heavens and condensed a black hole-like heavenly Dao Plate. It distorted the space of 1 li and blasted towards Yi Chunfeng. 9 Dragon Jade Annulus, shatter for me. Yi Chunfeng purposely summoned back the Demon Emperor Furnace and continuously channeled Dao power into the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus. It condensed into murderous dragons that bombarded the heavenly Dao Plate, wanting to shatter it. Boom, boom, boom. Deafening explosions constantly resounded in the air. One after another, the murderous dragons soared into the sky and bombarded the heavenly Dao disc, forcibly cracking the disc apart. Under the continuous attacks of the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus, the heavenly Dao Plate shattered. Di Jotian suddenly appeared beside Yi Chunfeng like a stream of light and struck him with a palm strike. Facing Di Jotian's sneak attack, Yi Chunfeng didn't dodge. He allowed the palm strike to hit his chest. He spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backwards, landing heavily on the ground. Seal. After severely injuring Yi Chunfeng with a palm strike, Di Jotian immediately mobilized the power of heaven and formed shackles that bound Yi Chunfeng and the roaring Mo Ba. He also took away the ancient bronze coffin that was as hard as a supreme-grade sacred artifact. Primogenitor, this person killed my son. Primogenitor, can you hand him over to me? Seeing that Di Jotian had succeeded Yi Chunfeng, Di Daoju was overjoyed and immediately went forward to request. Wait until I force out the secrets on him. Naturally, I will hand him over to you. As he spoke, Di Jotian swept up a white light and brought Yi Chunfeng and Mo Ba out of the chaotic golden hall and back to his cave abode. All right, Elder Di. Release the shackles. After Di Jotian released the cave abode's seal, Yi Chunfeng opened his tightly shut eyes. He looked at Di Jotian, who had a grave and helpless expression, and slowly ordered. Yes, young Master Yi. Di Jotian sighed deeply and released the shackles of heaven, restoring Yi Chunfeng and Mo Ba's freedom. Elder Di, do you feel very sullen and helpless right now? Yi Chunfeng sent Mo Ba back to the universe realm and smiled at Di Jotian. Sigh, young Master Yi. You are forcing me into a dead end. Di Jotian shook his head and said helplessly. Elder Di, although the bloodline of the heaven race flows in your body, the 9 Heavens' divine kingdom is not yours. What can you gain by wholeheartedly protecting the 9 Heavens' divine kingdom? Yi Chunfeng patiently said. And if you are wholeheartedly loyal to me, when I surpass the 9 Heavens one day and step onto the peak of martial arts, I can give you many benefits that you can't even imagine. I can even let you ascend to the heaven realm and step onto an even more exciting stage. Really? Di Jotian was also an ambitious person. He also wanted to become a heavenly emperor or even a heavenly master one day, but the heaven race couldn't give him that. You don't know me, so you can doubt my words. But you should know my father's strength. With my father protecting me, Do you think I will live a mediocre life? In order to make Di Jiutian completely loyal, Yi Chunfeng brought up his father, Yi Wuji. Young Master Yi, what do you want me to do? Thinking of Yi Wuji's strength, Di Jiutian's heart burned with passion. His deep eyes also shot out rays of light. I want to control the 9 heavens imperial family and then declare war on the Octave Divine Kingdom and the Kirin Kingdom. Yi Chunfeng saw the change in Di Jiutian's expression and revealed a faint smile. Young Master Yi, it won't be easy to control the 9 heavens imperial family. We first need to control Heavenly Sovereign Demia and Heavenly Sovereign Di Xian. Heavenly Sovereign Demia is a 2-star Heavenly Sovereign and is far stronger than me. He is the true ruler of the 9 heavens divine kingdom. Even Heavenly Sovereign Di Xian's strength is on par with mine. Di Jiutian said with some concern. No problem. As long as we plan it well, we still have a chance to control Heavenly Sovereign Demia. Yi Chunfeng said confidently, and began to discuss the plan to control the 2 heavenly sovereigns with Di Jiutian. Remember the URL. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 1481. Young Master Yi, are you really going to attack Heavenly Venerable Emperor Extermination first? After hearing Yi Chunfeng's plan, Di Jiutian frowned and asked worriedly. Net although he was only 1 level away from Heavenly Venerable Emperor Extermination, the higher the level, the greater the difference in strength. Furthermore, Heavenly Venerable Emperor Extermination was the true ruler of the 9 heavens divine kingdom. He had many hidden trump cards and the most terrifying Heavenly Emperor projection of the 9 heavens divine kingdom was in his hands. Controlling him was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. And, if we attack Heavenly Venerable Emperor Extermination first, with Heavenly Venerable Emperor Extermination's strength, he might be able to sense it and cause more trouble. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, if that's the case, why don't we attack the strongest Heavenly Venerable Emperor Extermination first? But with our strength, we're no match for Heavenly Venerable Emperor Extermination. Di Jiutian said without confidence. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. You just need to prepare according to my instructions, and we'll definitely be able to control Heavenly Venerable Emperor Extermination. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and said, all right, I'll go prepare the things you need. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng had made up his mind, Di Jiutian didn't say anything else. He went straight to the 9 heavens divine kingdom's treasury and used his status as the first primogenitor to search for the things Yi Chunfeng needed. Chaos Divine Wood, refine the pre-celestial essence. When Di Jiutian left, Yi Chunfeng took out the pre-celestial essence and summoned the Chaos Divine Wood. He devoured the pre-celestial essence and refined it in the tree. If he refined the pre-celestial essence, Yi Chunfeng would have another trump card. When the pre-celestial essence fused with the Silver Sword Soul, he would be able to unleash the Silver Sword Soul's strongest attack. It would become Yi Chunfeng's trump card to turn the tide. After putting the primal Chaos Divine Wood into his body, Yi Chunfeng took out the branch that he suspected to be the Time Divine Wood. Then, he controlled the God-devouring brain to deduce. The God-devouring brain seeped into the seemingly ordinary tree without any markings to comprehend its secrets. The God-devouring brain amplified tens of thousands of times every second. Strands of soul power seeped into the deepest part of the black tree branch. He sensed that the flow of time in the tree branch was completely different from the outside world. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng felt as if there was a world within the black tree, and the flow of time in this world was twice that of the outside world. My intuition was right. This is the branch of the divine tree of time. After confirming the origin of this branch, Yi Chunfeng revealed a look of excitement. With a thought, he entered the universe realm and began to comprehend the time rule contained within the tree. The time rule was even more mysterious than the space rule. It was divided into 3 stages: time plus, time deceleration, and time stop. Although the time law's comprehension was relatively low, comprehending the time law was as difficult as ascending to heaven. Even among the almighties of the faux God world, there were not many who completely comprehended the time law. Fortunately, the God-Eater brain had undergone many transformations, and its deduction ability had become extremely heaven-defying. Under the God-Eater brain's constant deduction and exploration, Yi Chunfeng's understanding of the temporal law became deeper and deeper. Royal Father, it has already been 7 days. Why hasn't the primogenitor handed Yi Chunfeng over to us to pick? Di Daoju and the rest had waited patiently for 7 days, but Di Jiutian still hadn't arrived. This made Di Daoju smell a trace of unusual aura. Sigh, I can't guess the primogenitor's thoughts. Di Tianyang sighed softly and said, perhaps Yi Chunfeng has too many secrets on him, and the primogenitor can't digest them all in a short period of time. That's why he hasn't handed him over to us to pick. Royal Father, what secrets do you think Yi Chunfeng is hiding? Why did he suddenly rise in such a short period of time and amaze the world with a single brilliant feat? Even we are far from being his match. Di Daoju also wanted to obtain the secrets on Yi Chunfeng's body to break through the shackles of the cultivation realm and break through to the 4-star heavenly saint realm. This Yi Chunfeng has something to do with Luotian, Di Tianyang guessed. Royal Father, are you saying that Yi Chunfeng is Luotian's disciple? Di Daoju knew Luotian's identity and asked with a frown. No. Di Tianyang shook his head and said, although Luotian's strength is strong, he's not strong enough to teach such a heaven-defying disciple. I think this Yi Chunfeng is related to the person behind Luotian. The person behind Luotian? Di Daoju gasped and said, Royal Father, you're saying that there's a human almighty behind Luotian. If there's no one behind Luotian, he would have died long ago, and the inheritance of the human race would have been extinguished. Di Tianyang said, but who is the person behind Luotian? Even the 2 great heavenly venerables don't know. This is also the real reason why the 3 great divine nations didn't exterminate the human race. Royal Father, if there's a human almighty stronger than Luotian in this world, then wouldn't the 3 great divine nations be in a very dangerous situation? Di Daoju said with some worry. Back then, when our 3 races killed the human almighty, the real reason was to lure out the true guardian behind the scenes of the human race and eliminate him. But for some unknown reason, that person hasn't shown himself. I think that person's situation isn't good, or he might have some misgivings. Di Tianyang analyzed and said, however, this Yi Chunfeng's strange rise is very unusual. I think that the person behind the scenes of the human race has made his move. Then, if my 9 heavens divine nation killed that person's representative, wouldn't it bring great trouble to my 9 heavens divine nation? After hearing Di Tianyang's analysis, Di Daoju became even more worried. Don't worry, my 9 heavens divine nation isn't a soft persimmon. If we're really in danger of losing our inheritance, someone will come and save us. Di Tianyang knew a lot of secrets, so he wasn't worried about the future of 9 heavens divine nation. Royal Father, you're saying. Di Daoju's eyes lit up as he thought of an important piece of information. The heaven domain gate was sealed by my heaven race. It can be said that everything in the central world is within the sight of my heaven race. This is also the true reason why my 9 heavens divine nation has always been the leader of the 3 great divine nations. Di Tianyang revealed an important piece of information to Di Daoju. And because Di Jiutian was sealed by Yi Wuji long ago, and the heaven domain gate was sealed by the Almighty of the heaven race later on, he didn't know this secret. After another 7 days, Yi Chunfeng was like a statue, sitting motionlessly on the ground. Under the God-Eater brain's deduction, he tried his best to comprehend the time law contained within the time divine tree branch. After half a month of comprehension, Yi Chunfeng had a certain level of comprehension towards the time law. The space around him was in a subtle disorder, and the flow of time was twice as fast. Phew, I've finally grasped the flow of time. At this rate, I estimate that in another half a month, I'll be able to comprehend the flow of time contained within the time divine tree branch. I'll also be able to completely refine the Sciention gradual with the chaos divine tree. Feeling the changes in the flow of time and the Sciention gradual around him, Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and controlled the God-Eater brain to continue deducing the time law. During the days when Yi Chunfeng was cultivating, Di Jiutian used his identity to search through the 9 heavens divine nation's treasury. He basically gathered everything that Yi Chunfeng needed and waited patiently for Yi Chunfeng to come out of seclusion. About 1 month later, the ancient map fragment in the restricted space disappeared. Yi Chunfeng walked out in white robes, looking very spirited. Although Yi Chunfeng's cultivation level didn't change, when Di Jiutian looked at him, he felt that his temperament had changed quite a bit. Every movement of his seemed to trigger a change in the laws of heaven and earth. He was slightly surprised. Remember the website. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 1482. Elder Di, have you brought all the items I need? Yi Chunfeng glanced at Di Jiutian, who had a strange expression on his face, and asked. Net, young Master Yi, holy generals are too precious. I used my identity to search the entire 9 heavens divine nation's treasure trove palace and found a total of 5 middle-grade holy swords and 42 low-grade holy swords for you. Di Jiutian said. However, I have brought the 10,000 top-grade formation stones that you need. In addition to these, I also brought you 2 matured longevity fruits, 2 matured earth fate fruits, 1 mad demon fruit, and 1 powerful exploding bead. Very good. With these items, we will have a chance to severely injure Heavenly Lord Emperor Destroyer. After receiving the treasures from Di Jiutian, Yi Chunfeng said a few words and went into seclusion again. According to the inheritance memories in God-Eater's brain, he fused the 10,000 supreme-grade array foundation stones into the ancient sky-shrouding diagram to increase its power. While Yi Chunfeng was refining the ancient sky-shrouding diagram, the chaotic divine wood had successfully refined the connate gradual, making it Yi Chunfeng's second natal treasure. I wonder how powerful the silver sword soul will be after fusing with the connate gradual. Yi Chunfeng murmured to himself. He cleared his mind and continued refining the ancient sky-shrouding diagram. Under his tireless refining, the 10,000 supreme-grade array foundation stones were all fused into the ancient sky-shrouding diagram, further increasing its power. With the current power of the ancient sky-shrouding diagram, it should be able to last more than 2 hours for Heavenly Lord Emperor Destroyer. Yi Chunfeng put the newly refined ancient sky-shrouding diagram into his body. After a simple rest, he put away the ancient sky-shrouding diagram and found Di Jiutian, who was meditating and waiting. All right, let's go to the place where Heavenly Lord Emperor Destroyer is sleeping, Yi Chunfeng said. All right. Di Jiutian did not dare to disobey Yi Chunfeng's order and nodded. Let's go. Yi Chunfeng entered the universe mirror and let Di Jiutian take it out of his cave abode. He went to the deepest part of Spirit Mountain, to a bottomless spirit pool. And this spirit pond was where the true ruler of the 9 heavens divine nation, Heavenly Venerate Emperor Destroyer, was hibernating. Primogenitor, why are you here? 2 old men in gray robes opened their eyes. Their auras were one with the space around them. It was impossible to detect them without the naked eye. When they saw Di Jiutian, they were surprised. What? Do I need to report my arrival to you all? Di Jiutian's expression darkened as he questioned sternly. Primogenitor, please calm down. That's not what we meant. Although the 2 gray-robed elders were extremely experienced and had reached the Nirvana heavenly realm, they did not dare to act rashly in front of the heavenly sovereign Di Jiutian. I want to see Heavenly Venerable Demia. Open the restrictions of the spirit pool. Di Jiutian ordered. The heavenly sovereign has ordered that unless our 9 heavens divine nation is facing a life and death crisis, no one is allowed to disturb his slumber. The 2 gray-robed elders explained in fear. It seems like you only recognize Heavenly Venerable Demia and not me. Di Jiutian exuded a domineering aura. 2 Dao diagrams shot out from his body and attacked the 2 gray-robed elders under their fearful gazes. Although the 2 gray-robed elders wanted to dodge, Di Jiutian was much stronger than them. Before they could react, the 2 Dao diagrams struck their bodies and instantly shattered them, turning them into 2 clouds of blood mist. Ancient Sky Shrouding Diagram, Space Restriction. When Di Jiutian killed the 2 gray-robed elders, the Ancient Sky Shrouding Diagram came out of the universe realm. Under the control of Yi Qinfeng's intent, it restricted the entire space and sealed the area around the spirit pond. When the space was restricted by the Ancient Sky Shrouding Diagram, Di Jiutian summoned the Supreme-Grade Saint Artifact, the Extreme Emperor Sword, that he had forcefully obtained from Di Daoju. He wielded the Extreme Emperor Sword and slashed at the restriction of the spirit pond. Rumble. The spirit pond's restriction trembled violently under Di Jiutian's full-force attack. Large amounts of formation-patterned steel flew in the air and caused the entire space to vibrate intensely. However, the spirit pond's restriction was created by Heavenly Venerable Demia and was extremely powerful. Even with Di Jiutian's strength, he couldn't break it open in one strike. Space-swallowing bug, swallow the restriction. Yi Qinfeng didn't let Di Jiutian continue to forcefully break the restriction. He summoned the space-swallowing bug that was slowly evolving and ordered it to swallow the restriction outside the spirit pond. As the space-swallowing bug continued to swallow the Saint Beast's blood essence, its ability to swallow restriction grew stronger and stronger. Under its continuous swallowing, a hole appeared in the spirit pond's restriction. About 3 days later, the space-swallowing worms had bitten a hole in the powerful restriction outside the spirit pool. Di Jiutian brought the space-swallowing worms into the cold spirit pool that was filled with powerful heaven spirit qi. Di Jiutian, when you see Heavenly Venerable Demia, act according to the plan. Don't let him suspect anything. Yi Qinfeng transmitted his voice. Understood. Di Jiutian adjusted his inner breath and tore through the cold water, swimming towards the bottom of the pool at an extremely fast speed. Soon, Di Jiutian swam to the bottom of the pitch-black pool. He saw a large number of innate runes engraved on a piece of jade that glowed faintly. On top of the jade, there was a man shrouded in black light. Heavenly Venerable Demia, I'm back. Di Jiutian couldn't help but feel a little guilty when he saw the true ruler of the Jiutian Divine Kingdom. Di Jiutian said in a low voice. Di Jiutian, you're not dead. Where have you been all these years? Sensing Di Jiutian's familiar aura, the man shrouded in black light opened his eyes. A deep and ancient voice came from his mouth, causing the pond water to churn violently. I was trapped in a dangerous place. I just got out a few days ago. Di Jiutian said the excuse he had thought of. Di Jiutian, who was the one who trapped you for so long? Empyrean Extermination slowly sat up, revealing an ordinary-looking face that was around 40 years old. I don't know that person's identity, but that person's strength is too terrifying. I was like a child in front of him, unable to struggle at all. Di Jiutian continued. Since that person is so powerful, why did he only suppress you and not kill you? Heavenly Venerable Demia asked suspiciously. I'm not sure about that. Di Jiutian said vaguely. It was hard to figure out whether he was telling the truth or not. Di Jiutian, why did you let me sleep today? Heavenly Venerable Demia said, I don't think you're here to reminisce about the past, right? I came to find you today because I have something important to discuss with you. Di Jiutian said, a few days ago, the Octave Divine Kingdom was destroyed by someone. Even the awakening of the ancient brew didn't have an advantage. And that person who destroyed the Octave Divine Kingdom came to my Nine Heavens Imperial Palace to cause trouble and killed Hui Tianxing. In the end, I captured him alive, but his identity is a little special. I don't know how to deal with him, so I came to discuss with you. What is his identity? Heavenly Venerable Demia pondered for a moment and asked. He seems to be related to the true mastermind of the human race. Di Jiotian said. That person from the human race has finally made his move. Heavenly Venerable Demia revealed a serious expression and said, Di Jiotian, bring that person to see me. I want to see him. I've already brought him here. With that, Yi Chunfeng, who was wrapped in chains, left the universe realm and lay in front of Heavenly Venerable Demia, whose strength was unfathomable. Remember the website address. Sanwa Chinese Network. Chapter 1483. 5-Star Dao Saint. Sensing Yi Chunfeng's cultivation level, Heavenly Lord Emperor Extermination's eyes lit up. August 8th language? 801 Hz. He knew how difficult it was to cultivate to the Dao Saint realm in the Soul Power continent. Without a great opportunity or a strong background, it was impossible to break the world's shackles and cultivate to the Dao Saint realm. Yes, this person might really be related to the person behind the scenes of the human race. Heavenly Lord Emperor Extermination said, Leave him to me. I'll search his soul and see what secrets he's hiding. Okay. Di Jiotian nodded. He lifted Yi Chunfeng with one hand and happily threw Yi Chunfeng to Heavenly Lord Emperor Extermination. Just as Heavenly Venerable Emperor Destroyer reached out to grab Yi Chunfeng, who was flying through the water, his sharp senses suddenly sensed a hint of danger. A crystal filled with destructive power broke out of Yi Chunfeng's body and flew toward him at an extremely fast speed. Boom! The exploding crystal filled with destructive power exploded. The terrifying destructive power was like an erupting volcano, instantly engulfing Heavenly Lord Emperor Extermination. The moment the exploding crystal exploded, Yi Chunfeng hid in the Qiankuan realm. Buzz! Di Jiotian attacked. He held the supreme-grade sage artifact, the Emperor Extreme Sword. Fusing with the powerful power of heaven, he slashed toward the center of the explosion that was getting more and more intense. He wanted to take advantage of his carelessness to injure him and weaken his combat power. Di Jiotian, how dare you betray the sky race and sneak attack me? Heavenly Lord Emperor Extermination, whose arm was injured by the Emperor Extreme Sword, was furious. I'll definitely turn you into ashes today. I'm afraid you won't have the chance. Yi Chunfeng, who had regained his freedom, left the Qiankuan realm. He merged with the heaven-suppressing orb and the Saint Blood Orb, and his strength skyrocketed. Life Soul Technique. When he borrowed the power of the two Saint Pearls to raise his strength to the level of a 6-star Dao Saint, he decisively burned 10,000 years of his lifespan and borrowed the boundless life force to surpass the limit of a Dao Saint and reach the pinnacle of a 1-star Dao Master. Then, he burned the most powerful bloodline in the universe, the primordial blood, and surpassed the peak of the Dao Master realm. He was now a 2-star Dao Master who was no weaker than Heavenly Master Emperor Destroyer. Interesting. I didn't expect you to possess such a divine ability. Empyrean Extermination, whose arm was bleeding, tore through the power of destruction. He looked at Yi Chunfeng with a deep gaze, revealing a hint of surprise. Although he was the ruler of the 9 heavens divine nation and had many powerful trump cards, he had never seen or heard of someone like Yi Chunfeng who could surpass his cultivation level consecutively. Elder D, I'll be right there. The amplification of the Life Soul technique was limited, so Yi Chunfeng didn't waste any time. He summoned the universe sword formation that was comparable to a supreme-grade saint treasure. Together with the shocked Di Jiotian, they attacked Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination from both sides. Blue Sky Seal. As Yi Chunfeng and Di Jiotian attacked, Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination twisted his hands quickly and gathered the terrifying power of heaven in front of him. It formed a powerful blue sky seal that seemed to be nurturing a world and crashed toward them. Break it! Yi Chunfeng's attacks were no longer the same as before. Under the control of his will, the Qiankuan sword formation quickly condensed and formed an invincible Qianquan giant sword. The sword tore through the ice-cold pond water and destroyed the extremely powerful clear sky seal that could destroy mountains. The blue sky seal was broken. Deity, whose attack speed was extremely fast, slashed out 9 times in an instant. 9 fatal swords escaped into 9 different trajectories, blocking all of Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination's dodging space. He couldn't dodge and could only fight back with all his strength. Deity, you can't hurt me with your strength. Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination swiped his hand across the air. The terrifying power of heaven formed a light screen that blocked Deity's 9 swords. When the 9 fatal swords tore through the light screen, Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination had already fled hundreds of meters away. He clashed with Yi Chunfeng, who was hot on his heels. Break all techniques with one force. Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination deduced a powerful Dao intent and constantly countered Yi Chunfeng's attack. However, Yi Chunfeng exploded with over 1 billion pounds of strength. He was like a revived ancient beast, using absolute strength to break through the Dao intent that Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination was deducing and fiercely crashed into his body. What great strength! Feeling Yi Chunfeng's explosive strength, Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination's expression changed slightly. His hands moved quickly and instantly formed 5 palm seals, overlapping each other to block Yi Chunfeng's terrifying and ferocious collision. Ka. When the 5 terrifying palm seals landed on Yi Chunfeng's body, they were immediately shattered by the explosive strength of over 1 billion pounds. Then, Yi Chunfeng, whose strength didn't decrease in the slightest, collided with Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination's body. Just as the two of them were knocked away by this fierce collision, the innate sword embryo and silver sword soul flew out of Yi Chunfeng's body and instantly merged. Like a cold star, it slashed towards Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination, who couldn't dodge in time. Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination's body defense was split open by the innate sword embryo. The invincible sword intent released by the silver sword soul directly cut through his skin, injuring his body. Large amounts of blood seeped out. Innate sword embryo, silver sword soul, I didn't expect you to have so many tricks up your sleeve. Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination lightly touched his chest that was injured by the innate sword embryo and instantly healed his injuries. The powerful bloodline in his body also burned at this moment. An ancient seal engraved with the word Tian in the ancient seal script appeared on his body, suppressing this part of the world. 9 Heavens Imperial Jade Seal, the number 1 saint treasure of my 9 Heavens divine kingdom is indeed in your hands. Looking at the Imperial Jade Seal that was hovering above Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination's head and releasing a terrifying pressure, Deity couldn't help but reveal a serious expression. He knew how terrifying the 9 Heavens Imperial Jade Seal was. The true power of this Imperial Jade Seal was definitely at the top of supreme-grade saint treasures. With it, Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination could fight a 3-star Heavenly Venerate without being defeated. Deity, I don't know what benefits the human race promised you to make you choose to betray them, but from the moment you betrayed my celestial race, you should have been prepared to die. Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination revealed his ruthless nature and said coldly, "It's too early to talk about who will win." With that, Yi Chunfeng summoned the 9-dragon jade annulus, isolating the space in front of him and repelling the 9 Heavens Imperial Jade Seal in the void. The saint treasure of the dragon race? Heavenly Venerate Emperor Extermination came from the heaven domain and had come into contact with the dragon race before. Feeling the dragon aura that filled the 9-dragon jade annulus, his brows tightly knitted together. Could it be that the dragon race is interfering in this world? A bad thought appeared in his mind. I didn't expect you to have so many secrets. It seems that I have to capture you alive. With that, A majestic power of heaven burst out from heavenly venerate Emperor Extermination's body and poured into the 9 heavens imperial jade seal. 3 golden dragons appeared from the jade seal and roared towards Yi Chunfeng. 9 dragons absolute kill. The 3 golden dragons that appeared from the 9 heavens imperial jade seal attacked. Yi Chunfeng immediately poured endless Tao power into the 9 dragon jade annulus, stimulating the strongest attack power of the 9 dragon jade annulus and condensing 9 killing dragons to meet the attack. Boom, boom, boom. The attacks formed by the 2 supreme-grade saint treasures fiercely repelled each other, directly tearing apart the space of the spirit pool. The spirit pool water flowed into the spatial rift at a speed visible to the naked eye and quickly decreased. Boom. Suddenly, the 9 heavens imperial jade seal quickly smashed over. The terrifying power directly shattered the 9 killing dragons. With a power that could destroy everything, it fiercely slammed into the 9 dragon jade annulus, forming a powerful rebound force that poured into Yi Chunfeng's body, injuring him. A stream of bright red blood flowed out of his mouth.